Gonna be an exciting match. I definitely want to see how much Hazukitty has improved.
Hazukitty taking Oh, I'm getting reports that we can't hear the commentators on the stream.
Oh.
Wonderful.
I suddenly couldn't hear anything.
Alright, we're on. Let me try that intro again. Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting matchup in the 2017 Fall Randomizer Open Tournament. I'm Walking Eye, joined here on commentary with Flaffy. Tonight we have an exciting matchup from Group B. On the left, coming off a loss in their first and only match so far, we have Hazukitty, and on the right, sitting at a 4th place in Group B with a 1-2 record, DemonRHK. We watch as they've gotten started. They've already diverged in routes. Hazukitty electing to start at Sanctuary, while DemonRHK starting off at Link's house, going to see what Uncle has.
It looks like Sanctuary had the hammer already.
Alright, well the hammer is very unlikely to be not required, so we will be taking a trip to see Aghanim at some point in the near future.
And it looks like Demon has a sword already. I didn't see where he picked that one up.
And he's going to head straight down into the basement to do escape. There's 3 chests down there, made much easier once you have that first weapon. Hazukitty, meanwhile, going to follow in the same path, picking up what Uncle has to give, which is that sword, Vanilla Sword.
Wow.
And then head over to get that arrow upgrade from the chest. Oh, Hazukitty has the hammer, so I guess that wasn't the Aghanim item?
No, it was in the Sanctuary. I think that's the
Oh,
only
my
thing
goodness.
she picked up.
Saving and quitting, electing not to do escape, so that could pay off, but we'll find out in a little bit after we see what Demon is able to pick up from escape.
She's definitely equipped for it, but probably decides to go to Kakariko instead.
Heading west from Link's house, an interesting route. No shovel, but we have seen this route become more and more popular as the tournament has gone on. There are 2 bushes here that have 50-50 chances to drop bombs early. Bombs are, of course, very important in the early game, and you can see Hazu getting one of those drops right now. There's a number of items locked behind nothing but bombs, and Hazu resets the bushes to try to get some more bombs here, and with 2... No, we're gonna farm a little bit more here, as Demon defeats the Dungeon Master and picking up the Moon Pearl.
Oh, wow. Nice to get that early. It looks like Hazukitty is getting at least 4 because with the race game and all the bombable places in Kakariko, it's at least 4 places. Looks like she wants to be well equipped though.
By default, you're able to hold 10 bombs, so no bomb upgrades have been picked up so far, so it looks like Hazu is going to farm until those 10 are reached. Nope, gonna call it here good at 7 as Demon picks up his hammer and hammers a guard on his way by, making sure to get that full magic in case there are any good items that use magic available shortly.
Not often you see a full magic pickup that early.
The prize packs for these enemies are randomized, along with this tree pull that you see here, and with the crab drops that you might see coming up shortly from Demon's side. And just hearts today on the crabs. And we have red cane in the library, so boots will almost certainly be required for this seed. It's rare to see red cane not be required. Piece of heart in the tree that Aghanim blocks, so not necessarily going to see Aghanim today, as Hazukitty begins their adventure in Kakariko Village, with Demon right close behind.
Yeah, and with Hammer, it's unlikely for Aghanim to be required unless both gloves end up being in Dark World.
Demon picking up that full heart container. Full heart container is very valuable in the early game. You really want to start off with some kind of protection against things like guards popping out of bushes, for example, or early boss fights. Just 10 arrows in the Thieves' Hideout. So we'll see what Hazu has. There's 5 chests here total. And a power glove. So that's going to give them Dark World access pretty early as soon as they pick up their Moon Pearl. Hammer plus glove plus Moon Pearl. Going to open up the routing options pretty wide open. And Hazu, unfortunately, bombing that back wall, but failing to go into the back to pick up that chest.
Oof.
I had the misfortune of being in a race where that actually really mattered and did happen. This was in my race where my opponent unfortunately forgot that it was the hook shot. So I can say that could come back to haunt them, but we'll find out what the implications of that are as soon as Demon makes their way to that area of Kakariko. Demon with no bombs right now, going to head into the bomb shop, pick some up for the low price of 50 rupees. Unfortunately, it'll set them back. They are now 54 rupees away from being able to go to Bottle Vendor, so hopefully we'll find some more rupees in the village so we can clear it out all at once. And thankfully, Hazu remembered that there is that item in the back, going back down into the Thieves' Hut in order to see what that has.
And also
Ether to pick up in the Chicken Hut. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, also the 30 rupees down here will get her that much closer to Bottle Vendor. And with the 50, she's got the money for it.
Always nice to be able to clear out the entirety of Kakariko Village. Another couple items would a flute would allow you to unlock that quickly, a bottle for the bottle vendor, and then hammer plus powder, and that's really everything available. So multiple trips more often than not. We get our first map check. Eastern, vanilla pendant there, green pendant. Might not see the runners venture so quickly there when there are other options available. Desert, also a pendant, and Hera is a crystal.
I didn't see if it was 5 or 6.
Well, I will trust our tracker at this point, and it will most likely not be 5 or 6. Hazukitty picking up their ether. We'll see if that medallion is required for anything later. Right now, these runners... Ooh, and a bomb for the guy in the Thieves' Hut.
Pretty gutsy with early bombs.
Still has 9 available, but yeah, a little bit gutsy, as you say.
Oh, picking up 3 there to replenish them. That's nice.
And the single arrow. Always a fun find in the back of the well. So these runners are just about finished up with Kakariko. After this, we really have the southeast of the world to check. Mini Moldorm Cave, a couple of items, other places around Lake Hylia, Ice Rod Cave, that kind of thing. That's generally where runners go. With the items that these runners have available to them, with the gloves, the hammer, and the Moon Pearl, they do have a little bit more option than that. So we'll see if they stick to the conventional routing or if they try to branch out and take a gamble and go somewhere unique.
Yeah, we might be seeing Demon bomb the Cane of Samaria. And also
maybe he thinks those are blueberries and they're, fun to give away and they're an expression of joy.
Oh yeah, they're nice explosion of flavor.
Demon finishing up with that route. We're going to do a save and quit here. Back to Link's house as Hazukitty checks on that heart piece in the tree that Aghanim locks, the lumberjack tree.
Maybe see an early hype cave? Oh, no. I did commentate a seed earlier in this week that had a 9-minute hype cave check that was actually hype.
Oh my goodness, Hazukitty going into the dark room without a lamp. I don't know if they're skilled at this, and unfortunately, from here, a saving quit would put them directly back in the cave. So,
Ooh, as soon as you enter it?
yeah, no, this is very, very dangerous for people not experienced with dark rooms. I'm hoping that Hazukitty is able to find, and there's a ledge right away. So, yeah, this isn't going to work out for Hazukitty. This is very dangerous here.
At least,
as we can see, Hazukitty's still in that dark room.
Can she back up and exit?
She should be able to, yes. Just holding down the down button. Short of that, if they cannot figure that out, and obviously we or nobody else are allowed to give hints here, it would be a full restart of the game, setting Hazukitty back considerably. And it looks like they have ventured out, jumped down the ledge a little bit. We kind of get a preview with that bomb, but we'll see what happens here. This was certainly a mistake that I made my first time navigating dark rooms in V26. I did get stuck inside the cave before I was experienced with it, so it is something that happens to newer runners. We'll see if it works out. Hazukitty does have the option of holding out the sword, holding the charge on the sword. You can see the sparkle from the end of the sword as you've fully charged it. We'll see if that is... nope, we're just going to drop a bomb. So they are navigating their way around, not using the sword being to guide them. We'll see, as DemonRHK makes his way around Lake Hylia.
Looks like she did a transition somewhere.
Very well may have rescued the old man. Dark rooms, especially without the sword beam there, not the most exciting things for our viewers to watch, so we'll kind of shift our focus back to Demon as he checks Ice Rod Cave. Those crabs can be nasty, doing 2 hearts of damage with the level 1 male. But he managed to avoid them just fine. And Hazukitty making it out without any guidance from the swords. Oh, and takes a death, gonna have to go back in and re-navigate those dark rooms.
Oh no.
So tragic, so close. A couple more pixels to the right there and would have been able to save it. I believe they start out having the old man following. So just one screen to navigate through.
Yeah, but if you don't know that's where it starts you at, it's pretty difficult. It looks like she might have, though. She got hit by something, so that means she's near the bats.
Demon, presumably heading up towards the same route. Yeah, Hazukitty makes it out just fine. That darkroom navigation, very, very skillful. Rescues the old man, gets 20 rupees for her time, and is going to give the old man a kiss, get the health refilled, and head back up to the mountain to see what the rest of the mountain holds. Unfortunately, with no hook shot or mirror, does not have a lot of maneuverability beyond Spectacle Rock and inside Spectacle Rock Cave. Demon navigating this room a little bit more interesting to watch with that sword sparkle out. Picks up the old man and heads down to avoid the bats and escape. We see a male upgrade up on Spectacle Rock, so the mirror and a mushroom inside Spectacle Rock Cave, a fetch quest, could be anything. We do have knowledge of where the cane is, a recent glitch found between the cane and the mushroom, able to emulate powder. With the hammer in their possession, once they can find the boots, we might see them hold on to that mushroom to try to sequence break and use that fake powder glitch. But it's one that not many people have quite become aware of yet. So we'll see how Hazukitty plays this.
It's a glitch that I'm aware of, but I'm not sure of the exact mechanics of it, because I tried to do it in my last race, and I was unable to do it.
Trying those things out live in a race is certainly a risky proposition, but this one not too difficult to pull off. You simply empty your magic pool, and then use the red cane. Immediately hit start after it tells you, oh, you don't have any magic left. And then you can switch to the mushroom and it will powder right in front of you.
Okay, so it's one of those frame perfect things, probably.
I believe so. I don't know how many frames you actually have to hit start there, but it's not very difficult to get once you have the timing. Demon going to pick up his mushroom now after seeing the blue threads on the Spectacle Rock, saving and quitting out of Death Mountain with nothing else to do here as well. Neither player has checked the back of Sanctuary, the back of Escape, rather, which they do have access to with the gloves, or Shahasala's Hut, which does have 3 free items in it. So we'll see if either runner decides to go there after this.
Yeah, it's interesting that Demon hasn't gone to, like, even just check quick things in the Dark World yet. But there's still a lot of things left in the Zero Circle, I guess, in the available from the start items.
And heading west out of Sanctuary, it looks like Demon, a little bit of indecision there, it looks like Demon will be heading to the Dark World portal in Kakariko, using that hammer and those gloves and that Moon Pearl to go to Village of Outcasts. Hazukitty not wasting any time with these mini Moldorms. Ether takes care of them all in one swift blow.
And Demon made a simple mistake what lots of people do in not realizing you don't have mitts, and you need mitts to go the easy way up to the Dark World access in Kakariko. You gotta go all the way around with the hammer.
Hazukitty saving and quitting out of the mini Moldorm cave, declining to go the rest of the journey around Lake Hylia to Ice Rod Cave. Generally, a lot of players will skip that. It is an item that is relatively out of the way for something that is not often required. So, not a bad play there.
It's also a lot easier, or a lot quicker later if you've got the flute.
Yes, another good point. We have our first Dark World map check, and it looks like the last pendant is going to be at Skull Woods. I saw 5 or 6 at Swamp, and did not see the other.
The other was at Thieves Town.
Thieves Town, awesome. So that's right here. We'll see if Demon will attempt that. With 5 hearts and a level 1 sword, it's going to be a little tough, especially the green mail. Blind, the boss at the end of Thieves Town, does not care what level sword you have. It's 9 hits either way. So that could be the play here. We're going to definitely finish out the rest of Village of Outcasts at this point. As Hazukitty turns in their mushroom, we'll see what the witch is holding today.
Ooh, just a full heart.
A full heart container is more than welcome, bringing Hazu up to 6 hearts total. Get that safety going for when they finally do dungeon diving. The C-shaped house is where Demon K is, not the most creatively named place in Link to the Past, but it is one that is apt. A piece of heart is hidden in the back.
I've also heard it called the Mario house because there's a portrait of Mario in there.
I've never even noticed that. I'll have to take a closer look when Hazu gets there.
Yeah, in the when you first enter the door, the wall on the opposite side has it definitely looks like Mario. It's got the red hat and everything.
And Demon is our first to enter, picking up a Master Sword, swinging it in joy after finding it. We have 4 items total in Thieves Town. The hammer is required to access one of them, but thanks to the early hammer that our runners found, that will be no problem. No double dipping will be required. The cape as well in here, so 2 pretty good items to start out for a strong Thieves Town as Hazukitty makes their way over to Shahasala's hut, see what the old man's hiding in the back.
Yeah, our first check over here, but hopefully it's good.
And a hook shot, that's going to give Hazukitty full Death Mountain access, including Tower of Hera. So there are 5, 7, 10 items that have just become available to Hazukitty. And they are heading right up to Death Mountain to investigate those items. I did have a chance to talk to Hazukitty before the match. They really wanted to make a point to get over to Death Mountain as soon as possible, knowing that it was such a lucrative item location.
It does have a lot, but it's also a steep climb every single time. Takes a lot of time. So even though she didn't have the Moon Pearl, having access to all of them on Light World is pretty nice.
Does have to be a little careful though, sitting at only one of those hearts left. Probably not going to bomb jump back across with that, being the final death blow. But still have plenty of time to make it across to finish out this dungeon.
It's like Demon's taking time to deal with the little red blobs, because they are a killer in this hallway.
I've heard them affectionately called Patrick, for their resemblance from fun SpongeBob character.
Clever.
And Hazu not wasting any time, not messing around at all, just gonna use Ether to dispatch with these mini Moldorms, and then a bomb to hit the crystal switch.
Yeah, having early medallion, early sword, early magic. When things can kill you that early with low hearts and green mail.
We have a bottle here and another heart container. Actually the Sanctuary Heart in particular. The Sanctuary Heart, the only full heart container in the game that will completely fill your hearts once you pick it up. A welcome safety here, back up to full. When they entered this cave, they had one heart, and now we're at full. Feeling pretty good. So both runners very happy with their routing decisions so far, picking up a number of very important items. The Master Sword, the hook shot, the cape, the bottle, all welcome additions to their inventories. We have a question in chat. What sprite is Hazu using? I actually do not know which sprite either of these runners are using. Flappy, do you have any idea?
I do, although I don't play it. These are both of them are Toho characters. Hazukitty is playing as Rumia, I think her name is, and Demon is playing as Marissa.
The artists that have done these custom sprites for Link to the Past Randomizer have done an absolutely phenomenal job. Titans Mitts, vanilla Titans Mitts for Demon. Wow, that is not something you can see very often, but that is quite an exciting pickup. And like I was saying, the artists have done a phenomenal job with these custom sprites, particularly with the bunny sprites. I always find it very entertaining when a bunny beam hits and we get to see what the artist came up with for their alternate Dark World forms.
Yeah. And personally, I think these two are some of the cutest sprites. They are definitely the cutest girl sprites. Looks like Hazukitty is getting a little lost on where to find Spiral Cave. She knows it's there, but not which entrance it is.
Yeah, Death Mountain a little bit tricky to navigate your first few times through the game, but once you get it down, it really becomes quite easy, much easier to pick up all those items and route yourself efficiently. Ooh, just barely avoiding it. Gonna go left instead towards Tower of Hera. Tower of Hera being a crystal and requiring possibly a fire source for the basement, but assuming there's nothing in the basement, and Hazukitty does have the ability to full clear.
We're seeing some cape strats over on Demon's side.
Oh, and he takes a death right there. Still has a decent amount of magic to try it again. 5 hearts is a little tough. We'll see if they're going to make another attempt right here or come back later. Looks like they're going to come back later. And with that big key, Hazukitty will at least be able to take on Moldorm in Tower of Hera.
Yeah, blind on 5 hearts, and even if you have a cape, you don't have half magic, so you kind of a little leery of using it, and it's the dodging in the in-between parts that I find the hardest.
It's definitely a challenging fight, especially with low resources, and knowing that even if you end up finding the golden sword, and we have a dig game with the first item being a heart piece, that's going to help a little in that fight against blind, but maybe not enough to head back immediately in, as Demon heads back east.
Ooh, and Hazukitty getting a lucky fairy drop.
Definitely welcome being down 5 hearts. And dispatching of the last bumper? What are those called exactly?
I just heard them called beetles. I'm pretty sure they got a different name than that, but that's the only thing I've heard.
So it looks like Demon is going to head down towards Hype Cave to the east. Hype Cave named as such, with holding 5 items, very often required in these races. We'll see if it holds anything interesting today. Hazukitty declining to hookshot over to the big chest at this time. Going to instead fall down it the conventional way.
Yeah, if you hookshot across it, it'll activate the little things, and you'll have to fall down if you don't bomb drop or bonk across. And it looks like we missed Stumpy having silvers.
Should certainly help them. And the lamp, after a disappointing green rupee, is the first item. And a heart piece. So the lamp, definitely a huge pickup. No darkroom navigation will be necessary. That no longer required. A bomb for the generous guy, giving away just a single rupee. Apparently not enough for Demon.
And Demon's pretty low on bombs now. Hopefully he'll pick some up eventually.
There's a bomb shop right there, but he decides to just head east instead towards Palace of Darkness.
Still needs to save up money for the eventual DemonRHK.
As Hazukitty starts with the first boss fight of the game, well, actually the second boss fight of the game, hopefully has more luck than Demon had on Blind. Electing not to go with the hammer and takes a fall to Moldorm. Moldorm still able to get even the most experienced of runners. Not so much of danger of dying, but definitely danger of making you lose time by knocking you off the edge.
I've definitely known. I've lost half an hour to Moldorm alone once because I just got so mad at it and sloppy.
It's easy, especially in these competitive race situations, to get flustered and lose focus. So hopefully our runners can keep an eye on their own mental state. Hazukitty down to 1 heart, takes a death. I believe that was intentional to refill their hearts before taking another shot at Moldorm.
Yeah, looks like it.
Demon heading over to Palace of Darkness. Does not have the bow, so could certainly get locked out early. But this is a very interesting play should this dungeon not be bow locked.
Yeah, the first 3 chests are the only spots where the bow could possibly be, but you're still able to get to the back pretty easily if it's not completely locked. And with the hammer, doesn't need to mirror out or reset the dungeon at least.
Bringing the monkey back to open the dungeon, avoiding getting hit so the monkey does not run back. Spending those 110 rupees. Let's see what Pod has to offer us today. Now, if this first chest for Demon is a small key, they will be able to continue on their way. But without a small key, this is going to be a pretty short trip, and we do have that small key. Unfortunately, no mirrors, so we're going to have to climb back up the stairs.
Gotta do it the long way.
As Hazukitty enters the Moldorm fight, only 3 hearts this time, but that might be enough. Going to try bombing Moldorm. Unfortunately, not going to have a good time with the bombs. Bombs do not affect Moldorm. The only weapons in the game that will damage Moldorm is a sword or a hammer to the tail.
And the hammer doing tempered sword damage, but also having a smaller hitbox than the swords.
A little bit trickier, but with a bunch of practice, you can make quite a shorter fight out of this compared to the fighter sword, which is what Hazu is currently running. This is also very close to what you're expected to have in the vanilla game, and Moldorm out for blood, giving Hazukitty another death.
And I don't know if Hazukitty knows it, but in the room right before going up to Moldorm, that row of pods that are blocked by the red switch, every single one of them has a heart underneath it.
always good to know stuff like that. When you're starting out playing this game, if anybody in the chat is looking to get into Randomizer, feel free to explore. Don't just go right into speedrunning mode. Feel free to explore what's under every pot, because those are often the same every single run, and so you'll learn where these safeties are, such as those pots. So if you're ever at Moldorm and you're missing, a lot of hearts and you don't feel comfortable fighting them, you'll know where those safeties are to be able to pick them up and get you on your way. Demon picking up some rupees in the rupee room does not have that 500 for Zora. Got to be in the front of his mind right now. Lots of rupees in here to pick up. Should put him well over the 500 mark. Along with 2 chests.
And even picks up 20 inside one of the chests.
Let's see any fairy pass before picking up the last of the rupees. And Hazukitty does in fact bomb that switch, so we'll have access to those heart pieces under those pots, should they make it that far and realize that is an option.
Yeah. Looks like not much in pot so far. Still got a bunch more left though.
Pod being one of the more lucrative dungeons in the game, holding a total of 5 items. This dark maze though, only 1 heart remaining. Gonna have to be careful of those little frogs that shoot fireballs. I think they look like frogs anyway.
I think they look like more like fiber-themed dinos to me. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, are they Dodongos?
They very well might be. Even saving and quitting out, realizing there's not much else he can do without the bow there. I believe the big key must have been on the right there, locked by the bow, locking out the big chest. So definitely more places to explore. Hazukitty just needing 1 more hit on Moldorm here. Ooh, and gets it. Down goes Moldorm.
Alright. And this is our first boss kill. So red rupee there. I don't know if she picked up another item, or if there's one in the bottom.
Either way, basement is not accessible. We'll see if Hazu does decide to come back once they pick up that lamp, or maybe even the fire rod.
And Demon picking up his hookshot.
I guess that hookshot was good enough to prevent a bomb throw at Shahasala. And it looks like they're going to head into Eastern Palace. Eastern not necessarily required and not completable at this time without the bow. So definitely more of a gamble, but with at least 2 items available, you're already here. It's a popular play that has been on the rise since this tournament started.
Hazukitty just realizing she doesn't have the Moon Pearl.
Well, hopefully she's able to pick that up pretty soon as Demon makes his way through Eastern. And it looks like Hazu is heading in a similar direction here.
Probably is heading to Eastern because she's already had to check Sahasrala's hut.
Just 5 rupees in that first chest. Back to the barrage of cannonballs rolling down. The Moon Pearl was indeed in Zelda's cell in Escape. Demon doing that quite early with Uncle giving the first sword. Hazukitty declining to do that. Hazukitty taking a less conventional route to the entrance of Eastern, but this will work just fine with those gloves.
I also don't believe either of them have checked the fall to escape in the back.
And Demon does have access to that dark room item as well back there, so that's 3 to 4 chests that these runners have not yet checked.
So still more items left in the light world, and even more in Dark World.
Ooh, and Demon getting the invisible Stalfo skills only has to kill 2 in that case, and picking up the big key in the very next room.
Nice, that one's more difficult to get. It helps if you've got a map showing you where to go, but if not, it's pretty difficult.
And no second item for Demon today. We're going to have to go through some dark rooms here. Hazukitty likely not going to have that option without that lamp.
It also means that Armos has an item, I think. Does it?
Yes, it does.
And with Armos also having the green pendant, it'll be probably in their back of their minds that there's 2 items waiting for them in Eastern Palace later.
So a double dip to Eastern later on, pretty likely at this point. Especially with Pod being a crystal, easy to get from Pod to Eastern with the mirror. Demon gonna damage boost off of the anti-fairies, picking up the powder, another fetch quest item that he does have access to. Also a welcome safety item for later in the game, turning those anti-fairies into health.
I find them most useful in Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock, Ganon's Tower, there's a number of dungeons that have a plethora of anti-fairies. Really helps players get through them. Hazukitty missing out on the invisible Stalfos kill, but does get a lucky fairy drop here. Going to take up these pots, throw them over. Surprised not to see Ether Strats, which she seems to be fond of.
Yeah, sometimes if you're already starting to attack stuff, you don't think to start and quit to do the easier strat. Not start and quit, sorry, the start and switch item. Demon throwing double bombs at that door for some reason.
Kind of misplacement of the first one. Didn't think he had time to pick up the second one, but managed to get through. Going up the stairs to check the rest of the wall of caves. Hazukitty attempting the dark room, makes it through the first one into the room with the Stalfos, has to pick up a small pot for a small key here. And Demon making use of those sword beams to hit that crystal switch. Sword beams not particularly useful in this game. They will often cancel out your sword swing, doing less damage than you would desire, but actually pretty useful in this situation. Hazukitty grabbing the small key with with a lot of ease there, using bombs to guide them, and makes it through those 2 dark rooms. That was very impressive.
She is out of bombs now, though. Yeah, I was gonna mention sword slash or sword beams. Eventually, they feel more like a utility than they do any sort of damage.
Yeah, often more useful in getting those crystal switches hit than anything else. And Hazu picks up their powder, saves and quits, unable to progress further through the dungeon. Demon checking what's on Sky Island. I don't believe Hazu checked this. Those dead rocks getting in the way, just a couple of bombs. So both runners, having been up at the top of Death Mountain, declining to go to Spiral Cave, might be an option after this check of Tower of Hera. Hazukitty, now realizing they can go into the back of Escape, falls down the grave into where there will be 3 chests. Unfortunately, out of bombs.
Oh no.
That is brutal.
Yeah, those items are not something you really, after the beginning, when you're worried about getting them, you don't really worry about keeping them later on. And eventually you'll lose them if you keep on using them.
So heading back down to the Grove, where Hazu knows there are bombs to farm pretty easily. Gonna do a full refill here as Demon climbs Tower of Hera. And just 2 is all Hazu needs to head back down into the basement. Now I'm expecting another Dark Room run for Hazukitty here. They've shown such they've really shown that they've been practicing, and that practice has been paying off. So I would not be surprised at this point to see another Dark Room run by Hazukitty for this last item in the sewers.
Yeah, definitely no fear going in. It's very inspiring to see.
Demon choosing to use that hookshot and take that fall now. A bottle and blue mail, so we will have access, should we find the mirror, to that red mail on Spectacle Rock. Not going to venture into that dark room at this time. It's a little trickier. You do have to kill a specific enemy to get a key. And actually, I don't think they had the key to be able to even attempt it. Hopefully that will remind Hazukitty that escape is a good play here, and oh, maybe not. Once they do find that escape is the play, they will get the Moon Pearl. And Moldorm, out for blood again against Demon, sends him back down a floor. Hopefully just one lands just next to the hole. So it does have the option to pick up a heart refill here, but with 8 hearts, does not need it. Going to go back up for round 2.
And Hazukitty just gonna check the magic bat with the powder.
Get those fetch quests out of the way. It's a good play right now. We'll see if the magic bat has anything for us today.
And maybe check Sick Kid along the way, or did they already check Sick Kid?
I don't believe Sick Kid has been checked, but with 2 bottles now, one with a fairy and one empty, it's certainly an option while Hazukitty's in the neighborhood. Demon dispatching Moldorm, still has an item in the basement, but cannot get it at this time. Oh, no, can get it. Does have the lamp, unlike Hazukitty. We'll see if he heads back in, and he does indeed. So he'll take a 45-second break in that tile room, light those torches, get that item, and move on to hopefully Spiral Cave. If not, we'll see where he's going to take us on his next adventure.
Probably to Spiral Cave, and with the Titan Mitts, we'll be able to check Dark Death Mountain as well.
I would certainly make that long climb that he has to endure every time he wants to take Death Mountain a lot shorter in the future, as more item checks now mean fewer item checks later. And Hazukitty is going to go into Escape, pick up their Moon Pearl, and pull very close to even with Demon here.
Yeah, it has a couple less Dark World checks, but nothing that won't be sped through.
Oh my goodness, Demon getting caught in between those blocks, does not have the mirror to mirror out of it, going to have to save and quit. I don't know if you can bomb yourself out of this. You can't. Those invincibility frames really doing a job here. Hook shot is not the option.
I think the red cane can get you through there. Or you can, if you had the red cane, you'd be able to hit the switch. But other than that, no, you can't get out of that. That sucks.
It's tough. So these runners pretty close to even right now once Hazukitty picks up the Moon Pearl. Demon unsure of where to go next. A little bit of indecision there. And that basement item, I think, is really going to bother him. Kiss from the old man as he heads back up to see what Hera Basement has.
Yeah, not getting the basement item, not getting the quick hop down Spiral Cave, then go back up in Dark World.
So a bit of efficiency loss, but you still want to get it out of the way now while it's in the front of your mind, especially when it could hold so many progression items.
Yeah, but yeah, that soft lock is one of those dangers that you don't know about until you're like, yeah, getting those invincibility frames, so amazing, so good, and then you misstep once, and you're like, crap, I'm stuck. What do I do?
Thankfully, Demon was able to keep his cool and figure the way out of it. Hazukitty taking the hammer to the guard, downs him in just 2 shots. and picks up the Moon Pearl. Ooh, and Demon showing some fancy hookshot strats up to Super Bunny Cave. As long as you're pushing a block in the Japanese 1.0 version, you're able to use an item and it treats it as though the block does not exist. So the hookshot able to go right through the block, pulling you to the next area where you want to be, bypassing a little bit of the puzzle that the developers intended you to solve here. Hazukitty looks like heading straight towards Hype Cave, knows that there's 5 items accessible to them now.
Yep,
Find the lamp.
She was trying to go there earlier. Definitely looks like the first place she wants to go as soon as she got the pearl.
Hookshot Cave, the next check for Demon. So not quite going to be able to get back to Hera or Spiral Cave this way, but still 4 items inside Hookshot Cave.
Unless there's a mirror. Or a book.
And we get literacy as Hazukitty starts their adventure in Hype Cave.
Oof. And all we got for Hookshot Cave is just the book.
Still, with the Master Sword, that'll give an extra item to Demon once they make their way back up to the Tower of Hera. Heading west now, the only item available over here would be the Spike Cave item. Does have hammer and cape, so is able to check it.
Often overlooked.
Indeed. It's tough because it's got pretty high requirements. It's a pretty long, winding path, but definitely good for efficiency here.
Yeah, usually you want it to be the last thing you check up here because you don't want to go back through it.
Now you see Demon tanking this damage, going low on hearts. This is because when you save and quit from the game, your hearts are replenished, but your magic is not. So you really want to save the magic until the very end, so you only use up as much as you need. Save at least a little bit for when you save and quit. Just 5 rupees for their time. Overjoyed, slinging the sword at those 5 rupees.
I also want to remark on how he had to menu over to the cape. The cape, unlike Burna, takes a second when you menu to it to activate. You can't activate it immediately. So he had 2 hearts when he got to it, so he was able to bypass that, but any closer and he would have been dead.
Hazukitty making the same mistake Demon did, going through the easy way to Village of Outcasts, but has to go around with just the hammer and the level 1 gloves.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get that first lift upgrade, you're like, okay, I can lift stuff. And your mind doesn't filter what's mitts and what's power glove lifting.
There are an awful lot of items in this game, an awful lot of progression items in this game. That's what makes it so interesting, but it is quite daunting to keep track of your first few times through it. So Hazukitty entering the Dark World as Demon attempts to set up fake flippers here. And gets it no problem.
I guess holding the bush was to move slower, to get the pixel right.
Ooh, just dodging that fireball. Yeah, holding the bush will certainly be slower. Bombos on the island in Lake Hylia possibly required. We haven't seen any pendant checks for either Turtle Rock or Misery Mire yet. Oh, takes a death. So close. Was going for that Waterfall of Wishing item plus Zora combo there. Unfortunately, if you get hit while in the fake flipper state, the Randomizer developers have graciously decided that will kill you instead of hard locking your game.
Yeah, that would have been devastating in an earlier version.
Hazu beginning a check into Skullwoods. Low on health, but as long as they're in the dungeon, should be okay. Not too much of danger of losing a lot of progress here.
It is yeah, she's killing herself on purpose now, because it is a danger when you're going from one setup to the other in the overworld. You can forget that you're not in Skullwoods and you're in the dark, or in the overworld, and if you die there, you get sent back.
Hazukitty did have a fairy, so that was not as dangerous as we might have initially led you guys on to believe. But falls down the hole, gonna pick up some items here in Skullwoods.
Picked up one item already. It was just a bomb upgrade, but still, haven't yet seen Skullwoods not have, or Pendant Skullwoods not have something in a long while.
And the big key, there is another item to the north of that room. Hazukitty might have to remember to come back. Hopefully that had nothing important in it. As Demon makes his way into Desert Palace. Cane of Brian on the desert ledge. Certainly going to be a welcome pickup. Might be even used to blind a little bit of revenge later.
Hazu killing yourself to save that key. Probably remembers how to get up to the north.
Just wanted that health refill, so heading back into the room with the key. I'm going to try to avoid those Gibdos and bumpers a little bit better this time. And heads right through. Demon picks up a small key, going to open up 2 more chests to the right side. Does not have access to whatever that bonk item is on the torch without boots, but we could see boots here. If not, we will be seeing a second trip into desert. So a bottle, the first item in desert. Got plenty of those everywhere already, so not exactly what our runners want to see at this point, as Hazukitty bombs to go to the big chest here. So while while desert does not have the ability to be completed by our runners right now, both of the items were pulled out of it, so you even have to be happy to see that. Hazukitty remembering that chest exists, thank goodness. Fighting that Gibdo with the fighter sword, not going to be the easiest fight in the world, but good enough at this point.
And just another small key.
Little indecision of what to do here. We're going to head back out into the overworld, it looks like, as Demon's going to head back east along Lake Hylia.
Probably going to set up the fake flipper again.
And we see that grabbing the bush to walk a little slower strategy that we saw earlier. And a little bit easier time getting the glitch activated this time.
Hopefully we can dodge that sharpshooter Zora this time.
A little bit more cautious. Letting that Zora line up the shot so it can be easily dodged before heading into the Waterfall of Wishing. Now, this is another glitch he's arming in conjunction with fake flippers, where if you go from the underworld to the overworld with the moon pearl in your possession, you will be able to walk on water. So that's what you're seeing with the exit, then enter, then exit, then enter. You're giving yourself the ability to open those 2 chests and then continue along by walking in that deep water, even though you don't have the flippers yet. And a full heart container, so we'll not have to revisit with the actual flippers later on. So just going to take a quick trip across the water to see what Zora has for sale today.
And skillfully dodging all those fireball shots.
And I see that picture of Mario now.
Yep.
Never noticed that. That's awesome. Just a heart piece from Zora, but 4 item checked at once with that fake flippers glitch. Very efficient routing. And the last bomb from Hazukitty goes to the bombable hut in Village of Outcasts. We'll see what that was. A kiss from the priest for Demon, and he heads back out into the world.
Let's see, possibly going back into... possibly just check Skullwoods.
And Hazukitty, being aware that there's a shop that sells bombs here, refilling their bombs. Demon, meanwhile, heading towards the Dark World. Looks like you're right there.
And I didn't know that shop was there, so wow.
Again, always nice to know where all the safeties are. When you play this game for the first couple of times, just explore. Just run around, see what's in pots, see what's in these areas that you don't see runners go in very often. As Hazukitty goes to what we know is a pretty lucrative Thieves' Town. Hopefully they'll be able to take care of Blind a little bit more easily than Demon had. But Demon with that blue cane now might be attempting that in the near future now that he's in the neighborhood.
He doesn't have the blue cane yet. It was on the...
Oh, it was on Desert Ledge. He had the opportunity to pick it up and passed it up. My goodness.
Oh, and Hazukitty is deciding not to continue in Blind's hut? Or Blind's house, Thieves' Town?
Might be waiting for a little bit more in the way of safeties. Only 9 hearts at the moment. Might be a little bit more than Hazukitty can handle. Nothing wrong with that. Not sure where they're heading now. Still no mirror, so not really able to. Must be checking Spike Cave.
Possibly. Got the cape. Yeah, looks like it.
With just 2 hearts and not quite full magic, I'm not sure Hazukitty is going to have quite enough to get through here, but we'll give it an attempt. Oh, this is not going to be quite enough, so Hazukitty going to have to come back at some point here.
Yep. Yeah, with only, it's called the Cave of Berna. That's because Berna uses a lot less magic overall than Cape does. Cape drains a non-half magic bar pretty quickly.
So Demon fighting with some Gibdos, trying to get that statue over to the switch in the middle of the room there. Those Gibdos not really wanting to do anything helpful.
Yeah, without the fire rod, they are a pain in the butt.
And that Wall Master not helping either.
Yeah, it's just the worst when you've finally gotten rid of the Gibdos. You're like, finally, I can do the thing, and then you get grabbed, and you're like, oh crap. Why?
Hazukitty setting up that same fake flippers glitch. We'll see if they head to the hobo or if they head to Zora the same as Demon did. And it looks like we're going to go right to the Zora area. Demon just picking up, I believe it was the compass. So without the fire rod, unable to get any more chests in Skull Woods. Gonna have to leave, and we have a couple of options here for Demon. He can go east, check out what Bumper Cave has to offer, or he could go back south, back into Thieves' Town, and give Blind a new chance at defeat.
Yep. There's also the Ether Tablet is open, but that's a long climb for one item. You can probably combo it with checking the basement again.
Ether Tablet, basement, and Spiral Cave, don't forget, all an option over there. Bumper Cave not having anything, so Demon gonna head back south towards Village of Outcasts. Hazukitty getting the walk-on water glitch, heading to Zora, gonna pick up their heart piece once they finish dodging all these fireballs from these Zoras.
Oh, and another check we hadn't seen was King's Tomb.
King's Tomb and Bonker are going to require the boots. Neither of these players have those, but definitely want them in the near future.
Why don't I think I had boots? Whoops.
Boots would be particularly useful for these hammer pegs. We saw Demon practicing his item dashing just before this race got started, so definitely capable of it. Without the boots, it's going to be hard to dash.
Mm-hmm.
Just 20 rupees hidden by those pegs.
And now probably going to see saving the blacksmith, possibly.
With no mirror, it's going to require a save and quit, but definitely still completed. One of the most common pitfalls of newer runners is having difficulty returning this frog without the mirror. Demon, though aware of the mechanics, immediately saves and quits.
And it is a logic.
And just as the frog is following Demon, we're going to remind you to follow these runners. Well, my wife gave me a thumbs down for that one. I tried it last night. She still didn't like it.
I don't judge puns or jokes.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. Hazukitty didn't quite venture into Thieves Town enough to get the Titan's mitts, but is going to head back in the Dark World towards Village of Outcasts. Hopefully head there, get those Titan mitts, get Blind done, get another crystal done. As Demon returns the Breadsmith to his home. Just some bombs, though.
Oof. And might as well check the bat while you're here.
It looks like Hazukitty is going to go back into into Thieves Town. Finding those Titan's mitts will certainly put them back in contention for this race. So as Hazukitty finishes clearing out those first 4 chests of Thieves Town, we'll see where Demon ends up heading. It looks like he's going to Sick Kid. We finally have that Sick Kid check. I believe we found at least 3 bottles between our 2 runners. Sick Kid today has just 10 arrows for us.
What's he doing with arrows? Practicing his archery. Ooh, nice fairy from Hazukitty.
Hazus had very good luck with those fairy drops today.
Yeah.
Really a nice convenience to be able to refill your health like that throughout dungeons, especially when going into difficult areas like the Hellway, which is plagued with Patricks. As Demon heads down into the back of Escape, into the sewers to pick up those 3 chests, we'll have the option of finishing it out. Nope, doesn't have a small key, so that small key is the last item there. Blue mail, though, making that sprite somehow even more adorable.
So that means that the chest in the crossroads is a small key?
Yes, necessarily.
Looks like Demon's going to check it, though.
Gonna be fairly disappointed. It's important to keep track of what items you've already found in here. Already has the map, already has all of the other items. The only thing missing is that small key. If they did have the small key, if they had found the small key and there was something in this chest, they would be able to check it from the other way. So, unfortunately, just going to be a little bit of a time loss here for Demon, but has a bit to play with Hazukitty still making their way through Thieves Town.
It is a little more difficult to count the chests in Harrow Castle than other places, especially if you're using, I know Crossbrow's Tracker has, for all the dungeon, has the items available, but not one for Harrow Castle.
Yeah, most of the trackers out there have been made with standard mode in mind, and there's that small key from Demon. Realizes there's no more chests. Saves and quits. We'll see where they head next as Hazukitty heads to Joe rescue the maiden.
They are running out of locations.
A kiss from Zelda this time as Demon heads out of the sanctuary. Hazu heading west before rescuing the maiden. Gonna pick up those vanilla Titan mitts.
Oof, that almost takes a ball.
Very fancy footwork there. There are some small hearts in a couple of those pots there. Hazukitty picks up one, finds the bunny beam in the other. See, there's one right on the right here. Gonna get that guard out of the way. And there it is. Alright, so we're at 4.5 hearts with the no blue cane, but we do have the cape. So might have a pretty good shot against blind here if we can use our magic efficiently. 5.5 hearts now.
It looks like she's got pretty good knowledge of what's underneath the pots. I saw her pick up a bomb one earlier when she was low on them.
So there's one final heart piece pickup. Hazukitty goes right for it before starting this fight with blind.
Broken pencils are pointless.
Tough to argue with that point. Pretty good saving the magic meter here for maybe the later phases of this blind fight. Gets through the first phase without much trouble. It's one hit in the second phase. Needs 2 more to bring out that third head. Down to 1.5 heart. Half a heart. Oh, it's going to be close. Now's the time for the cape.
Yeah.
Oh, does not pull it out in time.
Oh.
So both of our runners having a little bit of trouble here with blind. It is one of the more difficult bosses in the game.
Because most of the damage does come from those the fireballs, and those do a single hard damage for every male upgrade, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
I'm not sure if the lasers are mitigated either. So it's only hugs that are helped by mail.
Ooh, we get a bunny beam over on Hazukitty's side. Couldn't quite make out what it was.
It's just a shadow version of Rumia.
And there's that Hazukitty luck again, picking up that fairy. Full hearts now for the blind fight. As Demon, at the same time, also has revenge on his mind. The sword beams, giving him a little bit of range this time. Plenty of magic, plenty of hearts, plenty of sword beams. Lovely to see both of our runners complete this fight at about the same time. Demon a little bit more mindful of his magic situation here. Gonna get down to the later parts of the fight before putting that cape to use. And Demon finishes it off as Hazukitty enters the third phase. Plenty of hearts on Hazukitty's side. See if they're able to finish this here. 1 hit. That might be 2, 3, and we're all set. No magic needed for either of these runners. They both managed to persevere, pick up their 20 rupees and their crystal as a reward.
Alright, and they both got the same crystal cut now. Oh, they did before, but both completed at the same time. It's nice.
Purple chest now for Demon, having already picked up the breadsmith. Hazukitty deciding where to go, goes back into Thieves Town. There's nothing else there. Not sure what they're hoping to find. Oh, just gonna save and quit now. And Demon taking that purple chest again with no mirror. Gonna have to save and quit to manually bring it back.
What do you think is in the box?
I think there's I'm hoping it's a progression item of some kind, whether that be the bow or the fire rod or the flute, even a better sword, the red cane. Boots would certainly help our runners get moving here. Plenty of progression items still left.
Yeah, I think the meanest item I found here is the mirror.
Unfortunately, only 50 rupees available at this time. So Hazukitty begins exploring Dark Death Mountain. Gonna do Hookshot Cave plus the Super Bunny Cave here. Demon also heading to Death Mountain, has those items you mentioned earlier, still has to do Ether Tablet as well as Basement of Hera. So some options, as well as Spiral Cave. Some options on North Death Mountain for Demon.
Now, we just saw a route up Dark Death Mountain that I've never seen before from Hazukitty. I guess you could come up from a different direction?
You can. This is what you have to do. This is the route that the developers had in mind. So you're not hook-shotting through those blocks, and instead you're kind of taking this way.
Okay.
Lots of love in the Super Bunny Cave today. Demon passing by that Spiral Cave yet again. Gonna head over and do those items on the west first. As Hazu descends. Nope, I'm gonna go check what the Turtle Rock Bandit is. Knowledge is power here in Randomizer. So we're gonna see that you do require Ether in order to do that, and Hazu does indeed already have Ether. Both of our runners do. Ooh, Demon pushing that Dead Rock onto the bridge. Gonna go reset it by just walking away. That Dead Rock is not in a good spot there. You can powder the Dead Rocks. Instead, just invincibility flames right through it.
Yeah, sometimes it's not possible to do that.
And we have the mirror. What a find.
Ooh, and unfortunately, Hazukitty is in the Dark World, just getting the book, so if she wants to get that, she'll have to go all the way back around to the Light World. Ooh, that's a mean spot, I just realized. Having to go up Dark Death Mountain, get the book, save and quit, go back up Light Death Mountain to get it. Oh.
Hazukitty heading towards where the island item would be. Unfortunately, without the mirror, not going to do a lot of good going this way. There is a couple of fairies this way. As Demon descends into the basement of Tower of Hera to pick up that last item. Not going to even attempt to do the invisibility frames on the tile room, despite even having the mirror, and I cannot blame him.
Yeah, when you get burned by something like that, you want to take precautions not to have it happen a second time in the same run.
Hazukitty saves and quits out of Death Mountain, Mountain not having anything else to offer them at this time. Could have made another run on Spike Cave, but declined it. Nothing of interest there, so that's not going to punish them in the future.
Because she also now has she has the basement available because she's got the lantern. So eventually she might get back up.
So nothing good in the basement of Hera here. Demon not mirroring out might have still not made it through that is an item in their inventory at this time.
Yeah. when you get an item like that so late, you either immediately think of everything you can do with it or completely forget that you have it. Just one or the other.
Agonist Cave, the next stop for Hazukitty. Again, something already checked by Demon, doesn't have a lot in there. That red mail available to Demon right now with that mirror. Walks right by it, gonna go instead to Spiral Cave.
First check.
So we're going to get at least a ledge check from Hazukitty. We'll see if Hazu decides to enter desert or not. The items available are available in there without the use of the boots. However, the dungeon itself is not completable, but being a pendant, our runners likely aren't interested in completing it.
Yeah, with it being just the red pendant, you probably just want to dip in, get the items, and dip out. So it's probably a relief when you see both of them are available.
Spiral Cave having a disappointing 10 arrows, so the much hyped, long awaited Spiral Cave check not worth it.
In chat asking where silvers were. Silvers were on Stumpy, the little guy in the Dark World Grove.
The Link to the Past community is not the most creative when naming things at times. Guy who lives on the stump? We'll call him Stumpy. Kid who's sick? Sick kid.
Yeah, Stumpy does turn into a tree. If you go visit him later.
And Hazukitty picking up the first of 2 items and on the way to pick up the second item. Demon heading into Swamp Palace without the flippers isn't going to get very far here.
Yep. You got the mirrors, the hook shot, the hammer, you're like, yes, I can do Swamp Palace. I know I've done that.
If nothing else, he'll get that anti-fairy into a fairy to refill hearts before going somewhere else. He's going to realize it pretty quick here as Hazukitty saves and quits out of desert. And that water gonna present a problem. Let's see where
Realize it before even jumping in.
We do have Bombo's tablet available immediately to the west here. We'll see if Demon heads there or back north. We're going back north.
Probably to the Grove.
Another item location, that's a good point. Now available with the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror opens up a bunch of one-off spots that are hard to route.
And you are correct, that is exactly where Demon's going. We'll see what this Grove Ledge cave has to offer us. And just 20 rupees.
Rupees.
Already having paid the Zora fee, 20 rupees no longer interesting to Demon.
Oh, looks like we might be getting a pedestal check.
As soon as we find our way over to the pedestal, that thief giving a little bit of trouble to Hazukitty. And it's just couch cash. We're going to move right along. No pedestal for us today.
I was hoping for a fancy swim.
So Demon now able to check behind the graveyard ledge. Going to head right over to there. And those fairies seem to be plentiful on both sides today. Hazukitty heading back south into Village of Outcasts. Has the Smith sequence available.
Yep. You know, it'd be a really good item with all these fairies rolling around is the bug net.
Definitely always a welcome safety item. 100 rupees, I'm gonna pick it up. Might want to spend that later with those 3 bottles. And we will indeed get that frog to follow here. Gonna go down, try to check dig game. Thankfully, the developers have made it so if you have a follower and you go to the dig game, you will no longer be locked out of the game. Instead, the dig game person will just tell you to go away.
I did not know that locked you.
I believe it does. Developers did not anticipate you grabbing that frog and going anywhere but immediately north to return him. So we'll have to dig another day as we save and quit back to the light world with the breadsmith in tow. Not a lot of dungeon diving. Both of our runners really preferring overworld spots. V26 tends to be more heavily weighted towards dungeons. We're going to have to get a dungeon dive at some point here soon, running out of these locations.
Well, they can't get into any of them. Can't get into the swamp.
Yeah, Eastern
Mire,
and
Tiro.
Desert have been cleared. Pod could be jumped into. Skull Woods we've already cleared out. Ice Palace is locked behind Flippers currently. Mire's locked behind Fruit. Turtle Rock is locked behind Red Cane. So you're right. Just Pod is available, and that's it. And that looks like where Demon's gonna head.
Did Demon not already go to Pod?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably
we are
to
just looking for
Catfish.
Overworld. My goodness. So we have checked it, so I guess I have to take it back. Zora had a piece of heart. As our chat helpfully points out that Zora is an option. Both of our runners have gone there, in fact.
So Catfish is pretty much last. Catfish and Bombfish. Bombos tablet. Someone said Quakefish and I substituted Bombos.
So we'll certainly see some sort of progression item here soon for Demon. As the chat asks about Hobo. Hobo is technically locked behind Flippers, so that is available via fake Flippers and has not been checked by either runner. But a sequence break at this point would not be recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Demon giving the offering of a skull to the Quakefish. Comes back with the boots. That does open up a little bit for us. Gotta go fast. We have Bonkrock and King's Tomb. Demon gonna take them for a test run right now.
Immediately 3 bonks.
Meanwhile, Hazukitty coming up on Ice Rod Cave. Not gonna find a progression item there, unfortunately.
So yeah, more overworld stuff unlocked. Not much from dungeons. Looks like Demon might be running over to Bombers. Looks like.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. I would be recommending going over to see what those boots unlocked. But there could still be a progression item of some kind at Bombo's tablet. Boots doesn't open up a ton. Pretty much just Bonkrock and King's Tomb at this point. Know that there's nothing really in Desert, nothing to be gained by completing Desert, even though that is boot locked. We'll see what the Bombo's tablet has for us today. Wake! Again, not immediately useful. And another fairy pickup.
And Demon thinking of where to go.
Gotta remember that those boots do unlock some items. They don't just make you go fast.
Yeah.
But Demon definitely hesitating with those boots. Doesn't quite see where else to go here.
Ooh. It almost looked like Hazukitty was gonna go open up the Turtle Rock portal, but needs to go over to that Ether tablet.
Definitely heading in that direction. And Demon not quite heading towards what we know to be... oh, we actually have Red Cane in Library, so Red Cane would open up anything? It would open up Turtle Rock for us. Put up one item in Turtle Rock.
That is true.
Which might not be that useful.
I have seen the first chest in Turtle Rock be something that led to Fire Rod.
Well, Hazukitty has their mirror now. As Demon picks up his Red Cane. So Demon definitely slightly ahead here, but not by much.
Looks like Hazukitty's gonna go for a second try at Spike Cave, but might possibly not have enough.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure this is gonna get Hazukitty to the end of Spike Cave here.
Because Cave does drain so very fast.
And makes it a little bit further, but still not far enough. So Demon gonna head back up Death Mountain. Pick up at least that red mail here, it looks like.
And possibly check that first chest of Turtle Rock.
Oh, it's purple with red hair now. That's adorable. Heading back east towards that Turtle Rock entrance, as you had alluded to earlier. Boots were at Quakefish, to answer a question in chat.
And then immediately he ran over to get Quake at Bombos.
And that full magic refill for Hazukitty there. Very fortunate.
I have the best prize pack. I wish I had this for all my runs.
So without Fire Rod, going to be severely limited in Turtle Rock. And without either Fire nor Ice Rod, you're not going to be able to beat it here. But Demon still does have at least one chest, possibly more if it contains a small key.
It's definitely a gamble.
As Hazukitty digs up that piece of heart at the digging game.
And let's see what T-Rock has to offer. Ooh.
It is a small key. There is some advancement available to us here. As Hazukitty heads back north into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that's almost not what you want to see.
No bug net available. Demon really wishing for the bug net in that case. A sword beam this Pokey to death. And now we have the notorious Chain Chomp room. Demon navigating it expertly.
Ooh, unfortunately, one of the chain chomps.
And finds the Fire Rod!
Holy crap!
Wow, what a seed!
What a gamble!
So Turtle Rock play really paying off here for Demon. Hopefully Hazukitty has the sense to do that pretty soon. I think Hazukitty's going to run out of locations other than Turtle Rock to do this. Won't have a lot of choice. Now those two items on the right are accessible for Demon, so he's going to head right there.
Yeah, jeez. Oh man, if Ice Rod is in here as well, that will be crazy.
Demon using those hook shot invincibility frames to get by the rollers. Those rollers do pretty considerable damage. Got to be a small key in this next chest. And we're going to mirror back to the start, pick up a magic refill. As Hazukitty having trouble getting into that Grove cave with that purple chest in tow. Sees only a red rupee, heads back out. Gonna make sure to get that chest back. There we go. I'm just gonna head directly over. Unfortunately, not even gonna check that Bombos tablet for Quake.
And also missing out on Stumpy.
Yeah, those silver arrows definitely gonna be important later in this seed.
I wonder if she's been practicing Silverless, because she almost got it last time. She almost got Master Sword Silverless last race.
Wow, that is quite an impressive thing to do. Master Sword Silverless Ganon among one of the most difficult things in this game to attempt.
He got 22 hits. And another thing we're hoping for them to get is at least one other sword.
Both of our runners have been doing fine with Master Sword so far, but again, as you say, it's going to be a lot easier with at least Tempered. Hopefully Butter before we get to the end of this run.
Yeah, they haven't even hit the bosses that are made easier with Tempered or Butter.
And the mushroom is the bunny sprite. That's awesome.
I think it's because Marissa is a witch, so we gotta give the witch a mushroom. It's for the fetch quest.
I like it. And I have not seen the quadruple fairy powder before, but Demon expertly placing that powder shot.
That was nice.
So Hazu comes over and picks up Quake.
And for Hazu, we might see... Well, still's gotta go over to Catfish. So as soon as she gets Catfish, she can check Keenstone and Bonk Rocks. We just still don't know what's on those, if they have anything good.
We're going to get the rare Mimic Cave check here from Demon. Mimic Cave, often ignored because of its location. Runners will often save Turtle Rock until the very end, so this will often be the last dungeon. But today, it's required a little bit early, so we're going to get this check while there's so many progression items still out there. Trying to manipulate those mimics. There we go. You have to grab onto the wall twice in a row in order to get them to follow you while you're holding on like that. Demon does get that eventually to get a reward of a single heart piece.
Ooh.
Hazukitty thankfully heading up to Quakefish right now. Gonna pick up their mirror. Boots rather, their boots. Already has the mirror.
Yes. It's just a step behind, but definitely plodding along.
With the way this race has been going, with the way the seed has been playing out, this is still definitely anyone's race.
Mm-hmm. Especially if she ends up getting the ice rod first. And it looks like we're down to just the laser room for possible ice rod before Demon might have to leave.
Certainly looking for some other progression item in here. Fire Rod does also open up Mothula as a possibility here. Again, making use of those invincibility frames on the hook shot. Picks up a full magic refill. There are a couple of hearts there, but declines to get them. Hazukitty down to their last heart, heading west back towards, hopefully, King's Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Demon opening up that safety door. These laser bridge chests can be quite tricky, but with the respawn being right there, it's not that big a deal if you end up dying on them.
Yeah, you usually see at least one or two deaths here.
It's tricky to line up, it's tricky to time. This is one of the more difficult tricks in the game. The logic will account for you having either the cape, and we do find the bow in the very first chest that we check. That opens up Pod and Eastern. There are 2 items from Eastern and still a lot more than that in Pod. Pod definitely required, so getting closer to go mode, but not quite there yet. Definitely does open up a lot though.
Yeah, we still need the flippers and the boot. Sorry, the flute. The ice rod, wherever that could be.
Possibly even bombos.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see as Demon checks one more item here. Tanking the damage from the laser to pick up just the compass.
Oh, no ice rod.
Still a very, very lucrative Turtle Rock. Definitely a great play. Has a lot of options open to him now.
Yeah, because there's probably still at least 1 or 2 items in pod. Hopefully none of them are the ice rod. Otherwise, it'd be a required double dip into 2 rock.
So Hazukitty hookshotting back across the river there. Gonna head towards King's Tomb. This was likely their original plan.
Yep.
And that clutch fill magic refill for Demon as he heads to Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, Hazuki is probably gonna have a triple check of King's Tomb, Graveyard Ledge, and Bonk Rocks.
Very effective, but quickly running out of spots. Gonna have to head up to Turtle Rock in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Demon heading back into pod for the second time this seed. A little more luck this time with everything he needs to clear it. Heading right down for those mimic rooms where he will use the bow to pick up that big key and the rest of the items in this dungeon. Hazukitty also getting those 100 rupees is going to be very useful later with those 3 bottles for safeties for the end game. Bonking off the wall expertly into the fairy, definitely on purpose. Nice move, Demon.
It'd be nice to have. Ooh.
Saves and quits instead of going to Bonk Rock. Hopefully Hazu will remember that later. But other than that, I think we just have Turtle Rock left, and Hazukitty looks like they know it. Although they do still have Spike Cave to do. A 3rd attempt at Spike Cave.
And she also hasn't picked up a red cane.
So this will not be the last attempt. They'll also be able to pick up red mail here. Doesn't help directly with the spikes. The spikes will still continue to do 1 damage. But there is a trick you can use where you use the bomb to repel you, which will just do 1/4 of a heart of damage with the red mail instead of the 1 full heart with the spikes.
Oh, didn't know that.
There are little safety areas that you can stand on in Spike Cave behind the torches. For whatever reason, there are no spikes at those tiles. So Demon, now fully armed in Palace of Darkness, does still have the big chest to check. Will hopefully head there before heading to the boss. The big chest will have a non-dungeon item as he has both the map and the compass in his inventory. Hazukitty might have enough here to get to the end of Spike Cave.
No, you
Gotta be close.
You have to have at least.
Oh my goodness.
I think you either have to have at least 3 hearts or more than 3 hearts when you start picking up the block.
And Demon heading back into the maze. It's going to be a little easier to get out of it this time with the mirror than the last time they were here.
Yep.
Hazukitty gotta be going through their mind right now. There's gotta be something in Spike Cave. There's gotta be something in Spike Cave. A couple more locations, though, to check. Gotta head back towards that library, hopefully, pretty soon. As we get our big chest check from Demon, which is just an arrow upgrade.
Looks like Hazukitty might be going for the first time into pod.
Without the bow, not going to be able to make it very far here, especially with that big key being bow locked. But will provide valuable information.
Don't know if she's forgotten where the King of Spara is, or not realized that that's the progression that she needs.
Getting a little trouble from that bird flying around, but dispatches it with the Master Sword. Taking a wrong turn in the maze there. Does pick up that heart piece. Lots of generous heart drops again. This is such a great prize pack seed. A little extra careful with Kiki the monkey following. If you take any damage at all with that monkey following you, the monkey will get scared, run away.
And it is really annoying when that happens.
Costs 10 rupees every time you want to pick up the monkey. I've certainly been in the spot where I come in with, 115 rupees and get hit by Kiki, have to go and farm rupees until I find a little bit more.
Yeah.
Demon struggling a little bit with the turtle room. It's tough with the Master Sword because the Master Sword takes 2 hits on each of them, while the hammer takes just 1 shot, but the hammer has the unfortunate ability to flip them back over the other way, so you end up having turtles both ways here.
Yeah, and once they flip over from flip the first time, they are faster.
So Helmasaur King gonna face DemonRHK here for the 3rd crystal of the seed, 1 hour and 42 minutes in.
Well, the bow and slivers should be super easy.
And with a silver arrow to the green jewel, that will down the Helmasaur King. And the Tempered Sword, the reward for this, along with the crystal, very, very nice for DemonRHK. An excellent fight. I don't even think he got hit once there. We'll see if he heads in to finish Eastern, so close with the mirror right now. But definitely does have other options available.
Yeah. Because, well, very nice to have, not exactly progression.
And he will indeed. So pulling out that bow, getting ready for the fight with Armos already.
Yeah. Armos with silvers, super easy. Armos has an item. Armos also has the green pendant. And so Hospital is right down the road. No reason not to check this.
Hazukitty quickly running out of locations inside Palace of Darkness to check, but still has a few. Now heading into the dark maze. That lamp, not going to make it so that she has to do any more dark rooms. It's right back out, realizing that it's a little bit more efficient to go to the right first. Once you get to the end of that dark maze, there's no easy way back. So generally speaking, you want to mirror out at that point. So picking up these items first, Definitely a good play in terms of routing and efficiency.
Yeah, especially if the big key is over there.
But as we know, just a heart piece and 20 rupees down here in the basement. Gonna have to wait until the bow in order to get that big key for Palace of Darkness. As Demon enters his Armos fight. Like you said with the silvers, this is one of the easier fights in the game. Just 1 silver arrow per Armos Knight. And down goes Armos. Just 20 rupees, but we still have the green pendant.
Yep.
As we've taken a wrong turn in the maze, avoiding those fireballs from the Dodongos. Demon not really sure how to get by that Dark World portal he left behind here. You can get by it if you are holding an item above your head, so a bomb or a Cane of Samaria block will allow you to walk right through there. Instead, taking it all the way back to Shahasala's hut and then mirroring right in front.
Okay, and there are 3 items we're still looking for. Possibly 4.
And a full heart. So we still have a bunch of locations we haven't checked, including the Bonk Rock west of Sanctuary. Where else can we go? We can finish off Skull Woods here with the Fire Rod now.
I think they had 1 item left.
Hazu finishing their search of Palace of Darkness saves and quits.
Ooh. Demon bypassing Bonk Rocks. Hopefully he doesn't have anything.
Heading towards Skull Woods. And Hazukitty, remembering the Bonk Rocks, heads down into the underground to see what Bonk Rock Cave has for us today. Just a full heart. So Demon not going to get punished by forgetting that location.
Yeah, so this item on Mocula, or Mocula adjacent, has to have either flute or flippers. Or maybe Ice Rod if there was an item on Trinex.
Our runner's definitely hoping for any progressive or even fetch quest item at this point. Hazukitty, remembering the red cane, goes back into the library. Hopefully this will trigger the memory of Turtle Rock as a possible item location next.
I think it's actually her only spot to go.
I think we still have that Spike Cave for Hazukitty, unfortunately.
That is true.
We have a question in chat. Have they cleared Desert already? Yes. While they did not have the boots and were not able to beat Desert, they were able to pick up both of the items in Desert already. Demon, doing his pedestal stack before venturing into the final part of Skull Woods, finds there's just couch cash and moves along.
Yeah, if you find out that pedestal Mocula, or not pedestal, pendant Mocula, and not needed as a pendant, you might as well check this last chest first. Because if it is the item, then you don't have to do Mocula, and that's a load off your mind. Oof, unfortunately.
It's just the map. We are looking at a Mocula fight here. With full hearts, pretty close to full magic, red mail, tempered sword, shouldn't be a problem.
No.
This Gibdo room always gives runners trouble, though, as Hazukitty heads towards Northeast Death Mountain, knows she has the ability to enter Turtle Rock, knows the red cane's going to get her at least 1 item here, definitely heading that direction. Excellent.
Something interesting I didn't know about those Gibdos is they are killed with a single silver arrow.
definitely helps, especially when you want to conserve your magic for the Mothula fight. Fire Rod doing a significant amount of damage on Mothula. So a lot of runners like to use the lamp and that silver arrow strategy.
He doesn't have any magic.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So saves and quits. Not knowing where to get magic, gonna have to find something. A trip to the shop might be in order here.
Jesus the Frog in chat mentioning that Super Bunny Cave does have a magic refill in it.
Some of these hits on Mothula definitely getting canceled out via the bug where Mothula's on the spikes. Can't do anything. Mothula hides the flippers though.
Oh,
now we're getting some items opened up to us. What a seed.
Opens up both Swamp and Ice Palace.
Still looking for the flute, still looking for the ice rod, still possibly looking for Bombos.
Yeah, we won't know if we need that until we get the flute.
Hazukitty also hasn't done Stumpy yet. Does not have their silver arrows quite yet. But is going to head to the witch, pick up some green goo.
Yeah, not having magic and not knowing where to refill it is one of those things you take for granted. You usually expect to have just a little bit of magic, at least all the time. Choosing not to buy some more safeties. That would definitely help if you wanted to take another whack at Spike Cave.
It would certainly be a good idea to get a kiss from the old man to refill those hearts. Not gonna do it though. Gonna head up directly up Death Mountain instead.
Probably feeling really frustrated.
Yeah, going into Spike Cave more than once, definitely a frustrating experience. We wish Hazukitty the best in keeping their head cool. And Demon able to cross that little water gap this time. Oh, and Hazukitty bumps into the pink bubble, and we get quite a long poem here. While most of the required dialogue in this game has been removed, the optional dialogue, very entertaining.
Yeah, when you curiously talk to someone and then they just do not shut up, you're like, oh no, oh no.
Demon floods the dam as Hazukitty heads back into the Dark World to open Turtle Rock with the Ether Medallion this time.
And about to see if Demon decides to do left side swamp or not.
It's becoming more and more popular, it seems, to leave the left side of Swamp until last. Not sure if I agree with that. I do like the efficiency of picking up this small key first and using it on the left side. Seems to be a little bit more efficient if you know you're going to have to clear it out.
Yeah, that's definitely a routing I like better.
Piece of heart in south of the main room here. And looks like they are headed towards the left side of Swamp with that small key. And Hazukitty picks up the small key, gonna head north here to find Fire Rod in one of the most difficult locations I've ever seen fire rod in.
Yeah. Fire rod in Chain Chomp Room is one of those phrases you don't want to hear. Just anyone who had that, you're like, I feel so sorry for you. I'm sorry.
And there's the fire rod.
Ugh, just the worst. The worst place to have it.
Hazukitty not hesitating at all, going right back into that first room in Turtle Rock. No, don't leave!
Oh!
There's still a bow!
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, we'll have still quite a bit open to her. We know that the bow doesn't directly hide anything else. It's the fire rod that's going to get to the flippers, so...
That's true.
Not a terrible mistake here. Definitely something where a lot of runners would prefer to finish clearing out Turtle Rock, but was going to have to double dip it one way or the other.
Oh.
And the flute on the left side of Swamp for DemonRHK. We're getting much, much closer now.
Alright, just need to find the location of that ice rod. Is that going to be in Ice Palace or in the back of Swamp? And then possibly Bondos.
Hazukitty now heading towards Mothula to get her flippers, while Demon heads back to fight Argus. Checking to see if he has the big key. He does not. Gonna have to come back for that big chest if it contains anything.
Yep.
Hazukitty not quite heading to Skull Woods yet. Gonna go check Bumper Cave, it looks like, first.
Fortunately, I think it just had an upgrade, did it? Or bombs? Or
Just
green
a
rupee.
single rupee.
Is she gonna get it?
With nothing else to do, might be just spinning her wheels here. Looking to get away from those birds.
I don't know why. That's for fun. Oh. I guess she forgot. I didn't take a look before she went up there.
Demon getting his hearts to full before heading into the Argus fight. Hazukitty a little hesitant about where to go next, kind of dashing around in Link's house.
Yeah, that fire rod only really opening up one thing for her.
Could be going to get some more potions.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta think that that Spike Cave's still on their mind.
Yeah. Oof, and Argus with the big key.
So we will be technically double dipping into Swamp to pick up that item in the big chest. And looks like indeed we're going to get back up to Spike Cave. Still declining to kiss that old man. I know he's a little creepy, but he'll still fill your hearts just the same.
Now it is a gamble to leave the big chest out instead of going back into the swamp, but it isn't too long of a check.
And our big chest contains just a little bit of money.
Just a little bit. And Hazukitty with the blue potion, finally probably gonna get Spike Cave chest.
Gonna be disappointed at the end. I believe it's just 5 rupees. And waits until they're low on health to use that blue potion. Plenty of hearts and magic to get through now.
Oh, that's gotta be soul crushing.
Demon activates his flute. He's got a couple of options here. He could head down to the southwest of the Dark World to clear out Misery Mire, or over to Ice Palace. One of those areas has to contain the Ice Rod. We'll see which one he goes to first.
Probably the smart option would be to check what Mire needs first, and then, because then if you need to go to Ice Palace, if you get the Ice Rod, then you'll know whether or not you're in go mode from there.
I believe Demon knows that Bombos is on the Lake Hylia item.
Oh.
So he might be heading there to check it first. Needs to be in the Dark World in order to get it. Bombo's definitely an option here. Hazukitty heading towards Ice. Oh, gonna go check Hobo. Hobo is still an option, even though it is a sequence break.
Could be fake flippering into ice as well.
Definitely a possibility. Ooh, narrowly avoids that fireball and is indeed going to head into ice as Demon checks the Hobo for 5 rupees.
Alright, we'll finally see what Mire has to offer. Or what's needed for Mire. And it is
Bombos.
Oh.
Well, thankfully, Demon does know where it is. Going to check the Mire Shed and hopefully Checkerboard Cave before going back out to grab Bombos.
Yeah, because it could be the last item we need.
And a shield upgrade and the Butter Sword inside Mire Shed. So lots of good items in there. As Hazukitty finishes off the last of those bangs with the hook shot. Still rocking the Master Sword on Hazukitty's side.
Mm-hmm.
And Checkerboard Cave just having 20 rupees. Another example of how the Link to the Past community, not the most clever when it comes to naming things. So into the Dark World Demon goes. Gonna go back over to Lake Hylia as Hazukitty starts the Ice Palace route.
So, having Mire and Ice Palace to do you do Mire first or Ice Palace first?
I definitely agree with the Misery Mire move. The reason being, you're looking at finding the big key in Misery Mire no matter what. And it's going to be tough. Whereas Ice Palace, if you are in go mode at that point, you'll be able to go through it without checking any items, assuming you know how to bomb jump. Even if you don't know how to bomb jump, it's still going to be much, much faster if you avoid checking a lot of those chests. So I definitely agree with Mire first, and I think you'll find most runners do. Hazukitty looks like she's going to avoid doing the bomb jump here. Nope, she's going to bomb jump with those things down, realizes the mistake, and goes back up to hit the crystal switch.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Demon's gonna take your route and go to Misery Mire first.
few too many pixels south.
Oh, I think she had it, but then she got hit by the fire bar.
And that looks just about right, and Hazukitty successfully does the Ice Palace bomb jump. Goes to show you practice can take you a very long way. Hook shots across to avoid the fire as Demon starts clearing out the first room of Mire.
It's definitely the most annoying room, and the one I forget when I attempt to mirror out to go to the start of Mire.
Yeah, you'll see most runners avoid using that mirror for the very reason in Misery Mire. You don't want to deal with that room again.
I've learned to forget that the mirror strat in here.
Hazukitty getting a little low on hearts here. Gonna have to be careful, especially with this ice physics. And Demon picking up the first item in Misery Mire, just 20 rupees. So only one item left, and there's a lot of item locations to check here.
Yep.
And the big key on the right side for Demon while Hazu falls down at the big chest. Picking up a small key. Gonna have to come around to make use of that small key before continuing on here. Pushes the block the wrong way, uses a small key here. Now this is dangerous. With the Ice Palace bomb jump, that's not accounted for in the logic. You do have the ability to soft lock yourself out of keys in this dungeon. You can fix it with another bomb jump, but that bomb jump is going to have to come in the red jelly room. So Hazukitty here might just head to Cold Stare instead, and then head back through for the other items. Doesn't have Bombos or enough magic here to Fire Rod Cold Stare's outer shell to death. Just Master Sword and only 4.5 hearts, it's going to be quite a difficult fight.
Yeah, looks like Hazukitty is realizing.
Demon's heading down into the dark room of Mire, has the big key, gonna go fight Vitreous. Hazukitty gonna farm for magic a little bit here. Gets that fairy for a good heart refill, but still no magic. Gotta be careful in the corner, because if they do drop magic, you won't be able to pick it up.
Yeah, they have been getting a lot of full magic refills, so... Don't go down yet! No!
And this fight is not going to go very well. Should be pretty quick before Hazukitty has to mirror out here. And getting that out of magic warning now, going to have to mirror here. Saves and quits instead. Will reconquer ice another day.
Probably realizing even if she gets to the starting, she doesn't have enough magic to kill the first freeze orb. Freezer? What are those things called?
I'll believe you no matter what you tell me they're called. I have no idea. I guess in the commentary guide they should provide us with the names of all the enemies.
Freezors. Okay, thank you, Jesus the Frog.
Silver Arrow's making quick work of Vitreous here. Just 1 to each of the small eyeballs and 2 to the big one. And DemonRHK picks up another crystal, inching closer to the end of this seed. Hazukitty a little low on money right now, but gonna spend what they have for a blue potion.
guess we didn't see the second item of Misery Mire, but apparently it was nothing. Maybe it was the shovel.
Certainly looks that way as Demon heads up to the grove, does a shovel dash, showing off those item dashing skills before digging up the red rupee. Refill some of those bottles here at the Witch before heading to the next area, which pretty much has to be Ice Palace.
Yep.
Wants to load up on those blue potions, even getting rid of the fairy.
Because when you have that many hearts, Fairy doesn't really fill them up all the way.
Demon heading back into the Dark World north of Swamp. Not quite sure where he's going here. Hazukitty getting that full magic refill off of a guard south of Eastern Palace.
Nice. Oh, Demon has the 5 and 6 crystals.
The double-chested fairy is certainly a possibility for where the ice rod could be.
Mm-hmm.
And with no Aghanim defeated, we're going to have to take the long way around the bridge here.
And with the magic refill, Hazukitty is going to take another shot at Ice Palace.
I sincerely hope the keys are placed in favorable positions here, because I do fear that Hazukitty is soft locked.
Yeah.
It is fixable with a bomb jump in the red jelly room, but it's not a common thing for runners to know. And I completely miss what happened over on the right side with DemonRHK.
That was nothing good.
So to Ice Palace we go.
So the Ice Palace holding the ice rod, huh?
Not a lot of other options.
Yep.
So on the right we have Demon just the ice rod away. This is pretty much the last location he has to check. And that will bring him to go mode, and then he'll head up to Death Mountain to finish off Turtle Rock. Just has Trinex to beat. And we'll get Ganon's Tower. So hopefully finishing up this season in the near future. Oh, chat pointing out Red Jelly Bomb Jump isn't that hard. Well, it isn't necessary because of Hookshot. And that is correct. So, because of Hookshot, it is not a soft lock. I was mistaken. I'm just having nightmares to when I did, in fact, soft lock myself. And that is how I forced myself to learn the Red Jelly Bomb Jump.
Yeah, I myself have not tried it yet.
There are a total of 4 bomb jumps in Ice Palace that are useful in various circumstances. For the most part, though, just avoid coming in here without the hook shot.
Yeah. Demon getting that quick Stalpost? I think that's what it's called.
They are indeed. The game will only allow those Stalfos to be hurt when they are down and only by bombs. But as long as one Stalfos is down, all Stalfos on the screen will be vulnerable. Both of our runners attempting the Ice Palace bomb jump at the same time.
Oh, looks like Hazukitty got it again, but also got hit by the fire rod again.
Demon having a lot of hearts to work with here and a lot of bombs. Hazukitty running a little bit lower on both of those. Has to be careful about resources here. A little bit too high that time on Hazukitty's side as Demon makes his way across the gap. Hazukitty down to a single heart. Gonna go back and try to hit that crystal switch so as not to do this bomb jump. Gonna be tough to avoid those spikes, but does so. With the red cane, it shouldn't matter too much. There is a hot heart in that middle pot there, but Hazukitty gonna continue on through Ice Palace. Hoping for one of those lucky fairy drops. Obviously not in the right prize pack here.
Yeah. Demon checking has got the big key.
Hazukitty having a little trouble with that giant spike. As Demon falls down, only to head back up to check the rest of Ice Palace. Hazukitty decides just to cape away instead. Might have to pull out the cape here too. Ice physics in this game are very tricky. Oh, and gets hit by one of those cold monsters. What did you say they were called?
Freezors.
Freezors.
So, while the community doesn't have a whole lot of imagination name and stuff, neither do the devs for Zelda.
Cold Eyeball? We'll call him Cold Stare. So if the Ice Rod is in here, that could send Hazukitty back to Turtle Rock, which would unlock the bow. Skull Woods, though, really the place Hazukitty needs to head next. As Demon heads up towards that red jelly room, does have the hook shot, which I should have been aware of.
Yeah, it's one of those items that sometimes it'll be really latency when you get. So a lot of times you'll go to Ice Palace without it, hoping for stuff.
Getting a little low on hearts there for Hazukitty already. Might want to consider powdering that anti-fairy, but instead just continues on. And we have the bug net for Demon.
Finally, for all those stray fairies we've been finding everywhere.
And there's the
there
ice rock. Demon cannot contain his joy, hammering and butter sorting and bombing to celebrate go mode. We finally have go mode at 2:18:55.
Denied him a go mode Ice Palace, a go mode Swamp. Just go mode everything. Oh, and just happened to check the last chest and got a nice half magic for it.
with 3 bottles, bug net, red mail, silver arrows, 16 hearts. Should be well on his way to being able to have an easy time with Ganon.
Yep. And also an easy time with both Cold Stare and Trinex.
Hazukitty gonna attempt these bomb jumps again. Pulled it off the first time just fine. Second time a little bit more trouble. And misses it on that one.
I'm deciding
Might
not to
just
deal with it.
surrender here. With the red cane, the bomb jump is not nearly as necessary. Only 2 hearts left, 1 heart, and makes it through to the room. As Demon fights Cold Stare, Half Magic and the Fire Rod getting a lot of work done here. Fire Rod, I believe, does the same amount of damage as Butter Sword, with a little more range and a little more splash damage. The small keys behind Cold Stare. Whoa! Missing that penguin just barely. Gonna take out the cape again to get by the spike. Ooh, maybe not.
Noticing
Tanking the
finding out
damage instead.
The little delay on activating the cape.
And that Freezor's mad, but it looks like he's stuck behind that chest for now. As Hazukitty falls down to the big chest. Now this is a tricky room to navigate. We'll see if Hazukitty's able to get by, or maybe even Powder's first. There is a heart in that top left, as Hazukitty grabbed it. So a little bit more safe now. Pulls out that Powder, gonna wait for that anti-fairy to come back around, hopefully. Here it comes, and we're all set now.
There we go.
Let's get as many hearts as we can before heading down south into that next room.
Yeah, this room is sometimes pretty easy to fall in. It's one that boots help a lot when you're going this way. The other way you can just hookshot your way past.
Trying to make use of those invincibility frames on the hookshot. Unfortunately, a little too tight of a radius to make use of that. Gotta check this jelly chest here. And just the compass. So still needs to check those other chests. Gonna have to... Ooh, picks up a fairy right there.
Nice.
Doesn't have the bug net quite yet, but... there isn't Bunny Beam right there. Does not powder it. Only 1 heart, probably not worth the time.
Yeah. Was there another key somewhere?
There is another key somewhere, but doesn't need it. Just has to head north to the red jelly room. No, not west. You don't need to go west. There we go. And Hazukitty doing this all with Master Sword. Tempered Sword being at Helmasaur King, and where was Butter? Butter was in Meyer's Shed.
Was Temper at Helmasaur King or Armos? No, Armos had, sorry, 20s. Yeah. Buttersword was...
Meyer's Shed.
Yeah, Meyer's Shed.
So Hazukitty going to be just fine here, picking up the Ice Rod. And Half Magic first. Generally, runners grab that chest on the way back to avoid taking that damage.
Yeah.
As Demon heads through the Cane of Samaria maze.
Oh, we had a question in chat. Bo was in the very last chest in Laser Bridge to the Rock.
We had quite the item location on the Fire Rod. It was actually in the Chain Chomp room.
Yeah.
Hazukitty managed to grab that, but did not go further into the dungeon, so missed out on the bow. but we know Bo is not blocking anything. So, Palace of Darkness and the green pendant behind the Armless Knights not having anything. Rod Sterling. No, Dr. Bobtastic. I have not been told I sound like like Rod Sterling. I'm doing my best to suppress my accent right now, but we'll see if we can't get that to come out a little later.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's the guy from Twilight Zone.
Oh. I don't watch TV.
To be fair, I think Twilight Zone might have been on a little bit longer than... Oh, Hazukitty. No, you can finish this. Don't save and quit out of here.
Ooh.
You don't need to mirror.
Yeah, I know my first few times going through Ice Palace, it's just like a maze, and you know how to do the bomb jump, but you don't know if you can't get the bomb jump, the actual way to get through.
It is quite tricky. Thankfully, with this community, we have a lot of resources out there to help runners, newer runners, through these dungeons, especially the more tricky ones to route. So if you're interested in running and thinking, wow, this Ice Palace sure looks complicated, I don't want to deal with that, don't be intimidated by it. Don't be afraid. We can help you get started. Come join us on Discord. We'll get you started with plenty of videos, resources, maps. It really is not as intimidating as it seems to be. We have a lot of great people here to help you out.
Yeah, while I'm learning it, definitely any questions I asked are like met with just so much information and help. It's very nice. And we are now going to G Tower.
So it's time to guess numbers. The big key could be in any item location from 1 to 22. It is a tradition in here. And I believe Dr. Bobtastic is going to give the prize away if you guess it right. He's going to record a voice message for you on your cell phone for free.
Oh, wow. Before we get started, I think I'll guess. 4.
So best of luck. I think it's now closed that the first chest is open and contains a small key. Hookshotting across, we find a red rupee. With a small key in that first chest, we do have the option of doing right side, and Demon is going to take advantage of that. Putting that block down on the button with a little bit of trouble here. Lines it up a better. Almost. As Hazukitty attempts the Ice Palace bomb jump again, not quite. Has a lot of health to play with this time, though. And it looks like Tile Room is going to be our third item location checked this time.
Wow.
Not a very common thing, but definitely a legal play.
So doing Tile Room tends to look like you're just running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, dodging everything.
So the reason Demon isn't really slashing these tiles down is because those little two fireball shooters at the top and the bottom, every time you swing your sword, they will shoot a fireball. Just gotta avoid that wall master. Gets just a red rupee, so. Dashes across, has to light these 4 chests, these 4 torches before the first one goes out in order to access the next room. Does so in plenty of time and dashes through.
Yep. That can definitely be pretty irritating when you get down there just in time for it to close off. And throws it a little bit far.
Those Gibdos waiting to come at him. Gonna dispatch them with the butter sword pretty quickly, though. Picking up that magic refill, again showing the importance of knowing where everything is under these pots. The mirror shield is the first chest in here.
The last equipment. We are fully geared out now.
We're gonna mirror out. There is a small key if you go through that teleporter, but Demon's gonna skip that for now.
Yep. Hazukitty is very low on hearts, but does have potions still. Might want to utilize that, trying to get through these.
So a heart piece on the torch gonna destroy the Bob sprite for us. That's gonna be 8 items checked so far as we hammer our way into the next room. Quick map check here. You see that, yes, there are 4 chests right to the north. Freezing those red Stalfos in order to get them to behave. Nothing doing in this room, though.
Oh, I just realized our stun prize was 5 arrows.
Stun prize, not something that's checked very often, but can sometimes make a huge difference when you find a boomerang or a hookshot early.
Mm-hmm.
Hazukitty falling down the safety room in Ice Palace now has that net. Might pick up at least one of these fairies in a bottle and is going to attempt to do exactly that.
Nice.
And unfortunately misses the last one, but one fairy in a bottle is better than no fairies in a bottle. As they head to Cold Stare fight, making use of that red cane on the button, bypassing the Ice Palace puzzle. And with half magic now has plenty of magic to get rid of that outer shell. Master Sword's still going to be a challenge here, but Red Mail should make it a lot easier, especially with those full hearts.
Yeah, and pretty much most of the fight would be used with the Fire Rod. And Demon actually found the last bottle with a fairy in it already.
And we'll check the rando room here. And another full heart container gets him to 17 hearts. As Hazukitty begins the Cold Stare fight. So 16 chests checked thus far for Demon, if my count is correct.
Well, these should be the last 3, I think.
Yes, they are. So I must have missed some at some point. Miscounted.
Yeah, well, they start doing Tala room first and then going right room or right side first. Oh, and Bob's chest.
I'm gonna check Bob's chest here. Powdering the anti-fairy out of the way. Red boomerang, not particularly useful, as 2 of the eyeballs now for Cold Stare have gone down. And that third one's got to be low on health. Oh, and Hazukitty takes the hit. That fairy's still available.
Thank God.
Should give them plenty of opportunity to finish this Cold Stare fight off. As Ice Armos also falls. And that's it for Cold Stare and Ice Armos. We get the big key in the vanilla big key chest.
Wow.
And are we going to get a rare big chest look here? We've cleared out everything else in Ganon's Tower. Might as well.
There's no more items to get, though.
Going by the fairy refill room, so we know that's not it. I guess we're going to just round things out by 100%ing this game.
Oh, I was hoping for a single arrow.
As Demon heads back up to go into the top of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, King of Burno was in the Desert Ledge, so know where it is, just they're not gonna get it.
Both runners did see it, but declined to pick it up.
Yep. Decided to use the cape as their invincibility item.
Demon pulling on that statue to manipulate those mimics. Mirror Shield is able to just tank the damage pretty easily, but there we go. Hazukitty now figuring out where to go next. Remember, they need the flippers. The flippers are at Mothula. Not a lot of other locations available, other than the rest of Turtle Rock and the Mothula item.
Demon taking the invincibility frames for Cannonball Run.
And beginning the gauntlet. Arrows down the first Stalfos, looking like a pretty good gauntlet one. Fire Rod gonna finish it off here. Nope, just gonna butter sword right into the wall.
Yeah, it's definitely always nice to have Butter Sword by this time. Ooh, and...
Leaving the fairy behind. Could use those extra 6 hearts, but decides not to. 11 is enough with red mail. And with half magic, going to take advantage of that by burning all of those dinosaur things. We should really learn the names of these things. Or I should.
Those were... God, I knew them at one point. Someone in chat knows. Someone, right. Please tell us what they are.
I promise for next time when I do commentary, I will be learning the names of enemies. This one I know. This is Landmolus 2. Silver Arrow is going to be able to dispatch of each of these heads once.
Wow!
And an expert one cycle from Demon. That was impressive to watch.
No misses, no nothing. Wow.
Switches to Red Cane. Going to pull off an equally good one cycle here on these Wizrobes. Gets all 3 with 1 block.
It's just so satisfying when you get that. Or when you learn that strat.
This Wizrobe room a little bit more difficult. We'll see if Demon can pull it off, and it looks like he's going to have to go for the 2 cycle here instead. That magic refill, definitely tempting, does go down to pick it up. We get another torch room here. Going to pull out the fire rod. Magic not really an issue with a full magic refill available in the next room and half magic.
Oh, Hazukitty never checking this chest up here.
Thankfully, Hazukitty will be heading into the rest of Skull Woods, though, picking up their flippers. That will correct the sequence break that was Turtle Rock, as well as give full access to Swamp.
Mm-hmm. And Demon's still checking chests.
Might as well try to finish it out. Only a couple of heart pieces away from 100%ing here.
Yeah.
Bomb throw not quite there. Hazukitty making their way under the maze, under the bridge in Skull Woods. The other thing Demon could be doing is setting us up for a complete surprise on that last validation chest at Moldorm 2. Just completely ignoring it. Taking a fall to Moldorm, though. Moldorm giving both runners a little bit of trouble in the previous encounter.
Yeah, Moldorm 1 definitely Hazukitty had a lot of trouble with it. And I think Demon took a couple falls too. At least
yeah, they both certainly did. But this time Moldorm goes down. No more Moldorms today. We're gonna hookshot across and just a red rupee in the validation chest.
Oh.
Hazukitty trying to get rid of these jellies. Sees that fairy, would really like to get there. But it's tough in this room. And that fairy's gonna disappear before they can grab it. Meanwhile, Demon's gonna head into... Oh, armed with the net.
Ooh.
Gonna head into Aga 2, armed with the bug-catching net. I see some fancy strategies here.
I think this is actually the first live race I've seen where someone used the bug net.
Bug net a little bit difficult to wield here, but definitely looks cool. Hazukitty gotta get that Gibdo's key. There's a heart piece in the top right, in the top left there, rather. And Fire Rod gets rid of that, give Dylan just one shot, dancing around the room, making sure none of the other enemies hit her. I'm going to pick up a little bit of a magic here, too. Just arrows in that other pot. Not particularly useful.
Yeah, that room is like underappreciated and just how trolly it is. Like all three of the very worst enemies in there.
Doing an excellent job dancing around the spikes here for Hazukitty. Master Sword not as effective as the Fire Rod, but really makes use of those Fire Rod shots, depleting their magic before getting those flippers from Mothula. As Demon finishes off the bug net fight and increases the bot count by quite a bit.
At the same time, Mothula goes down.
So here we are at 240. We're going to have our first fight with Ganon as Hazukitty going to head presumably to Swamp Palace.
And yep. You know, the flute is the item to get in Swamp and it is on the right side, which is not great.
Just 6 hit per phase on Ganon with that Butter Sword. Gonna need one more round of these fire bats, but that should do it right there. Hazukitty emerging from Skullwoods. Not quite sure where they're headed now. Hasn't done Stumpy yet. Could be going to Stumpy. Stumpy does have the silver arrows. Definitely something Hazukitty's going to want to pick up before progressing any further here.
Yeah, looks like it. Because Hazukitty is still looking for the flute. Oh! Bypasses Stumpy.
Gets the torch glitch on Ganon, so 4 silver arrow shots shouldn't be too difficult here, especially with that half magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2. Hazukitty just choosing to take the long way around to Swamp.
Yeah.
And one more shot here on Ganon will do it. And that's it.
GG.
With an official time of 2 hours, 42 minutes, and 34 seconds, DemonRHK is our winner. So we'll see if we can pull Demon in here for an interview.
Nice comment. Demon has commented, the siege to classify as a war crime.
So Hazukitty heading into Swamp, the only option really right now. We'll find that flute, which will unlock a little bit more. The rest of the siege should be pretty straightforward. Hazukitty also has Turtle Rock to finish up. Now has the Ice Rod from Ice Palace, so we'll be able to clear that out. And it looks like Demon is going to join us on for a post-game interview. Let's see if I can drag him down. Demon, good game. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that was some sort of seed.
With the fire rod in the chain chomp room, I think that is the worst location I've ever seen the fire rod in. What were you thinking leading up to that moment? Demon, good game. Congratulations.
I was lost. I thought I had forgot something at that point. I had like 5 saving quits to Sanctuary in a row, checking single location, and eventually I'm finally say, forget it, I'll just go check Catfish. Last location I haven't checked. and has boots. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what does this unlock? And then I remember the Samaria is in the library, and instantly I go, oh god, I'm going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it was definitely a gamble.
Yeah, it was definitely the play you needed to make as well. So thankfully that was the way to go. You also had available to you King's Tomb and Bonk Rock, which you put off until a little bit later.
I don't think I ever checked them.
You might not have, but it didn't matter because you did end up finding the fire rod at the most trolly location possible, and from there you were able to really route yourself through the rest of the seed.
Yep.
It didn't get any better either. And even once I found the fire rod, I decided that knowing my luck and this seed just decided it was going to karma me for every seed I've commentated this week. I knew something else was in Turtle Rock, so sure enough, I kept going on, and for the second time this tournament for me, the bow was on the laser bridge.
Yeah, 2 key items in Turtle Rock. Thankfully, the bow wasn't really locking anything, so you didn't have anything in Eastern or Pod other than the Pod Crystal that the bow was locking, but still necessary to complete the game. Necessary to eventually unlock your flippers and get the Ice Rod and complete Turtle Rock. Well, Hazukitty's going to continue their way through Swamp Palace here. Looks like they are going to do left side now before heading into the Argus fight. So that'll unlock the flute, which should point to the next couple of locations here.
I think
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I think was there nothing in both Eastern and Desert?
Desert had nothing. Eastern had nothing, certainly after they got the bow. Pod didn't really have anything. So
only... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so really this is the only way forward here. That bow, not, skipping the bow, skipping those last laser bridge items for Hazukitty, not really going to punish them here. Demon, while we still have you here, again, congratulations. It was a tough run. It was a tough couple of items. Lots of items in pendant dungeons. Lots of double dipping required. I give you full credit for persevering. And that Land Molus 2 fight was beautiful with those silver arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I got something done clean in this seed. The only other thing was I was afraid that dipping out after blind might have something super important. I think I kind of lucked out on that.
Both of you had a little bit of trouble with blind on this seed. We were surprised you didn't pick up the blue cane in order to go back to blind. That was sitting on Desert Ledge. You had access to that pretty early. But you passed that one up as well.
Oh, I was wondering where I had missed that at the end, because even after I found Big Key, I decided to go open Big Chest, open every chest on the way up, because why not? I've opened up every other chest in the game.
Oh, we were pretty sure you were setting us up for a skip of the validation chest, but we were glad to see you opened it. So, again, congratulations, and I think we're going to get back to commentating the rest of this Hazukitty run. Picking up their flute right there should give pretty clear hints as far as where to fly to next for the next crystal.
Yeah. And chat thinking that Hazukitty flooded the key. She did not. She got it before she went around to set off the flood. She just hasn't picked up that first key you can only get with a hook shot.
So unfortunately, we know that Argus has the big key. Going to have to pass that big chest at this time. Possibly a double dip is necessary. Hazukitty checks it anyway. Doesn't have the small key required. Going to have to reset this room now after picking up those 2 pots. Realizes it, heads south back into the vanilla map room, I believe this is. Ooh, and doesn't have that chest at all, so has to go around for that chest.
Well, thank you both all for commentating, and I'll let you get back to Hazu. Good luck to Hazu on the rest of her run as well.
All right, thanks for joining us, and good luck in the rest of your races.
Thank you.
So Hazukitty, now having reset the room, gotten that extra chest, is going to be able to head up to the Argus fight.
Probably gonna check the chest along the way and get just the map and the compass both in the underground.
Taking a little bit of a wrong turn here. Not going to get very far without moving that statue onto the button. Taking care of those red jellies before getting that statue on there. There's 3 chests left plus the Argus item. Again, taking a little bit of a wrong turn here.
Yeah, if you haven't been in here before, it's definitely a bunch of places that you kind of want to know where they go, but might not know exactly. And then possibly has to reset the switch. Now, it's a good thing she didn't try using the Cane of Samaria, because you can use the Cane of Samaria to hit that switch. However, as soon as it moves off the screen, it'll despawn and lock the door in your face as you walk over to it. And just finding all the hearts in the pots, I never think to pick those up anymore. Oh, unlocking it and going down the other way. This is interesting. Because you can head down this direction and get both the chests there.
Yeah, this is definitely a tricky dungeon to route. Again, following those guides available to everyone on the Discord and in the community in general, really helpful for getting more efficient routings done on things like Swamp Palace.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend watching races, especially by people who are extremely knowledgeable. The ones, especially in the main tournament, who know what they're doing. A lot of secondhand knowledge just from seeing how they move helps.
And you can also learn along with these runners. Give them a follow. We're going to post those links again. Also give our entire production team here a follow. Our commentators, our tracker, and our restreamer, all volunteering their time. I don't know what the command is for putting those Twitch links up.
It's a commentary.
Ah, that's a little obvious now that I think about it. Picking up that fairy again. Very generous fairy drops tonight. I'm still pretty amazed by that. So using Quake here, does this work? I've never even seen this. Oh my goodness, I thought those guys were invincible. That is fantastic.
They're definitely super irritating when they get like right up on the ladder and you're trying to jump off and you've only got a heart. You're like, no, I can't hurt you, but you're gonna kill me. But Quake does kill them.
So still rocking the Master Sword here. Each of these 2 puffs is going to require 2 shots, assuming those sword beams don't cancel it out. Sword beam's gone now, so that is actually a good thing.
Yep.
Steal that puff back to finish it off. 2 shots. You don't really want to be spamming your sword here. You want to be timing it because those puffs do get invincibility frames. But Hazukitty going to dispatch them all the same. Chat asking, is there any vulnerability table for the 3 medallions? The way that damage works in this game is a little bit tricky. What happens is every single sprite in the game, not just items, has a damage table, and the damage table will tell them exactly how much damage they take from every single item in the game. In Quake's case, Quake will always usually deal 255 damage to everything. And a lot of things that's going to have the same effect that the powder is going to. So Quake is going to turn some things into, onions or whatever their powder form is. So not necessarily doing the damage that the number is saying.
Interesting.
So those little water bugs must have a thing that says when we have 255 damage from Quake, just die. And the powder very well might do the same thing to them.
I'd definitely like to check to see if they die by powder.
Each of the bosses likewise has damage tables. That's why silver arrows will do different amounts of damage. That's why blind is invulnerable to silver arrows, while it's going to one-shot Helmasaur King, because that just happens to be what their damage tables say.
And it's even different for stun, because while the hookshot does stun a lot of enemies, it doesn't stun the Gibdos, but boomerangs do stun Gibdos.
Right, and those are just assigned to damage values. So even though the boomerang isn't doing any actual damage to the Gibdo, it's still saying, I'm applying X damage. And the Gibdo's code has a hook that says when the boomerang damage is applied, instead just stun. So it's all, when you're working in 1991 in some very restrained environments on a very restrained system, such as the Super Nintendo, you're really going to be clever with how you manage your limited resources.
It definitely makes the randomizer and just using all the different items for all the different enemies very interesting.
Just 300 rupees in that last chest. Gonna save and quit out of here. Maybe? Gonna walk out? We're getting out of here one way or another. There's nothing else for Hazukitty in here. The next obvious play would be to activate the flute and then fly over to Misery Mire. We'll see if that's where Hazukitty heads. Question in chat about Hazu is, are they a new runner or did they run other games before? I am not sure what the history of these runners. There are a lot of people in this tournament, a lot to keep track of. So unfortunately, I know that they are pretty new to Link to the Past Randomizer specifically, and I don't believe they have any experience running something like other categories of Link to the Past. But as far as other games, I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's definitely new to Link to the Past, but she's improving a lot. I'm trying to locate where to activate the flute.
Now, these cutscenes are a pretty nice break for runners. As you're going through this, I mean, we've been at this for almost 3 hours. It's nice to have these little cutscenes, these little breaks where you can kind of reset your mind. You don't have to focus on both execution and routing at the same time. Just another example of how Randomizer is really fantastic completely by accident.
Yeah.
So into the Mire Shed we're going to go first before seeing that Bombos medallion, I would hope. That Bombos medallion sitting on Lake Hylia item. Hazukitty did see that earlier. Ooh, gotta be careful here. Those pterodactyls can do quite a bit. Sees they don't have Bombos, gonna have to head out somewhere else. Mire Shed does contain a sword upgrade, which will help in this run. Of course, Checkerboard Cave only having some rupees, I believe.
Not sure if they realized, well, I guess still looking for Bo, never mind. I was thinking she knew where Bombos was if he's download.
So we will get the Checkerboard Cave check first. Not going to find anything good in there. But Bombo sitting on that Lake Hylia island. Hopefully Hazu remembers where it was.
Yeah, those checks are usually pretty far, pretty early on in the seeds, so definitely a lot of time to remember it. Ooh, and maybe going into desert.
Desert already cleared out by Hazukitty, so nothing here and nothing on the pedestal, so clearing out this non-green pendant won't really get them anything. Back
Maybe
into the
realize
Dark
that.
World we go.
Okay.
We have other places in mind, so save and quit out of the mire area.
Yeah. So it's either time to go grab Bombos or go up to Turtle Rock.
And it looks like we're heading towards Turtle Rock now. That'll get Hazu the bow, but it won't really find them Bombos. And bow will of course help clear out Eastern and Pod. Pod being required of those two.
And hopefully remember Bombos along the way and not go for Eastern.
So back into the Dark World we go. I'm trying to remember if Hazu has actually checked the basement item of Hera. I know they weren't able to the first time they came in and cleared. Might be checking that now.
Yeah, don't think she did.
A little bit of thinking here, and we are going to head back inside. I'll cross this one off the list. Gonna attempt those invincibility frames. Manages to not get stuck, unlike Demon did earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure which. Sometimes you can be on one side or the other. Once you try to wiggle off, you realize you're on the wrong side. Looks like she was on the right side. Yeah.
So indeed, this was not grabbed quite yet, so we're going to light these 4 torches. Don't think there was anything of consequence in here, just 5 bomb capacity upgrade.
Yep. I'm probably gonna go over to T-Rock now. Hopefully.
Running out of locations, I'm worried Hazukitty has forgotten the Bombos item on that island. But we'll at least be able to progress a little bit here with the bow off the laser bridge in Turtle Rock. And into Turtle Rock we go. This definitely looks like the play. With the Ice Rod and the Tempered Sword, we should be able to get this cleared out pretty easily.
Yep, and having to go over to the right room, the first room for the fire rod, because she skipped out as soon as she got the fire rod.
big key and a small key sitting on the right side. Ooh,
Mhm.
I've never seen someone walk off like that. Must have been on just the right pixel there.
It's really awkward when it happens. You go, what happened there? Because I've done it before. I've fallen through the platform before as well.
Oh, that's happened to me many times. A little too quick there. Taking that full magic refill, maybe not the best of ideas right now while this goes through. Taking the southern route through this little maze here. Most runners like to go north instead, lighting the torches and then hook-shotting onto the torches to fall down. Hazukitty going to play this a little bit differently, though. Going to work just as well, though.
Yep,
Opening
it's
that door. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Gonna hope we loop back in time. Gonna be close. Nope, not
Aw.
quite. Gonna have to go back around here. Lighting the bottom two. Getting the top right. And they're all lit as long as we can avoid doing the little loop-de-loop again. We're in plenty of time. Pulling out the cape to get by these rollers. These rollers will do significant amounts of damage, but much less so with that red mail. Picking up that big key, small magic refill, and small key.
yeah, she definitely needs to be where start to think about her magic.
Gonna cape back. Not gonna be able to pick up this full magic refill at this point, already having taken it. Could mirror back to the start to pick up that full magic refill, resetting the dungeon. Instead, we're just gonna keep going though. Ooh, watch out for that jelly. He will zap you right off, and indeed he does. We have a question in chat about the possibility of finishing that room without fire rod. You can technically hover it. It is technically possible with the lamp. I do know at least one person has done it. I do not remember their name.
Wow.
I do know that nobody would ever want to do it ever again because that is insanity. Hazukitty running out of magic now. Gonna have to go through the 4 anti-fairy room without any magic unless there's a magic refill in one of these pots up here. And there is 2. There are 2.
I don't know if she'll got some potions or not.
During the last visit to the potion shop, she did buy a blue potion. I didn't catch if she used it or not already.
Probably noticing that she's got the big key.
Skipping that pokey key, though, and there is another small key, I believe, in that pokey chest. So that small key gonna be necessary to clear Turtle Rock. Hopefully remembers to go back and get it. Gonna get bunny beamed here for a minute. And heading south towards Mimic Cave and the big chest. Mimic Cave having a piece of heart, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, she's still not in go mode. I just realized.
Still a few items away. Still need the bow on Bombos and possibly silver arrows. Bow is in the final chest in the laser bridge here. Silvers are on Stumpy, which Hazu has not done yet. And what was the last one? Bombos is on the Lake Hylia Island.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, can bombs damage those? Interesting.
Well, trusty old Quake. Let's see what this does.
Nothing.
A whole lot of nothing.
Wow.
At this point in the vanilla game, you're expected to have the bow. Of course, you can manipulate the mimics by grabbing onto the edge and then moving your controller. You do have to grab on twice in a row in rapid succession. But we do know that if Hazukitty does not get this item, it is not a required item.
Yeah.
So a little bit of manipulation going on there. Not quite enough, though. Oh, gonna try to bomb jump through. Clever, but not quite enough.
Wow. That might have done it.
And that was enough. So a clever solution, but I think a little more research would be in order here.
Yep, just a little.
So back into Turtle Rock, onto this big chest. So we don't have enough keys to complete Turtle Rock because we did skip that Pokey key.
Yeah.
But we do have enough to get that bow.
Maybe realizing this is the key? Cool.
Alright, heading back through, this is a good thing. We'll be able to mirror back, which will save a little bit of time if Hazukitty can remember it.
Yeah, that's one of those things you don't... It's harder to remember because Turtle Rock has so many exits.
Gonna take out at least one of these antifairies with this powder. And catch in the bottle.
Nice.
Always nice to have more safeties.
Oh, and I did see a blue potion.
Excellent. Getting low on magic now. Don't want to fight with that last anti-fairy. Gonna fight this Pokey for that key. Dodging the lasers. Pokies do get faster the more Pokey parts they lose. We'll go with Pokey parts. But Hazukitty catching up to this one eventually. Floating skeleton heads here, also known as skulls.
Now this one should be a small key as well. Yeah. It's always hard to remember which keys will end up being open a door just to get a small key.
And this pot will give the Hazu a full magic refill.
Yep.
And mirroring would be great right now, but it looks like we're going to hoof it manually.
Not the worst.
So back through Turtle Rock we go. These Pokies, after they die, we can go directly right into the big key required door instead of going back through near Mimic Cave and outside into Death Mountain again.
You have to remember that.
Those Pokey heads, tough to catch up with. No, the bunny beam. And we are going to go outside again. With the door bombed open, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's definitely something I should try to remember when I'm in Gomo T-Rock, but I'll eventually walk past it, and I'll already be out by the time I go, oh, I could have gone through there.
It's always a good sign when you come out of a run and you've learned something. A lot of runners will go through, and even if they lose a race, as long as they learn something about the mechanics of the game or a routing decision or something, it's considered a victory. I certainly, I learned today that Quake kills those water bugs. Should I ever be in a one-hit KO race of some kind, and I have Quake at that point, I will definitely be pulling that out instead of thinking, God, how do I get past these things?
Yep. I think that's actually where the strat was found, maybe. I think someone told me that, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
So picking up the fire shield upgrade. Unfortunately, the mirror shield we know is in Ganon's tower, so we will not be getting that for the laser bridge. Gonna have to use that half magic and cape in order to get through that. Having a little bit of trouble with this crystal switch here. Does not have a boomerang yet to get through. Ice Rod would do it. Quake would not do it.
Not sure if Hazukitty knows about the beams from Samaria, which is, oh no.
Not too far back, but we'll see what happens here. Well, at least on the way back, Hazukitty doesn't have to worry about opening that chest. So now that we've already collected the item there, we can just walk right through. Also, Hazukitty out of bombs currently.
That's the reason she mirrored out.
So walking right through.
And taking a pause for
pulling out that hook shot in anticipation of using those invisibility frames around these fire things. A little tight on that radius, but still enough to get through.
Yep.
Taking a scenic route here on our way to hit this switch for the door.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to get lost around here. And you get one wrong turn, you're topsy-turvy. Trying to go, oh god, I'm off rails. Oh, and found a way through. Wow, I didn't know that direction.
And onto the laser bridge.
Actually has half magic for this that Demon did not have.
Not going to the safety door quite yet. I believe Hazu has a fairy, so shouldn't be a problem with one death, but definitely want to take that regardless. Safety's always welcome. And here's the bow if we can open it. Oh god! And there it is. We have the bow. Where was half magic? Half magic was in Ice Palace.
Yep.
So with one heart, unfortunately no bombs. We're going to have to skip the safety door.
Oh no.
We do have that fairy. We do have that blue potion. Hard to get more efficient with a blue potion. Not a terrible idea to use it now. Please use it now. Dear God.
Okay.
And there's the blue potion. Full hearts,
Whoa.
full half magic. We are good to go. Gotta search a couple of these pots for bombs, I would guess.
Possibly.
Sword beams work just fine to
to
hit those crystal switches, though. We
Yep.
are on to the Trinex fight.
with half magic and tempered sword should not be too much of a problem.
Gonna go after the ice head first. The fire head does come out first, but the ice head poses much more of a problem to runners with that ice, adding those ice blocks across the floor.
Yep.
And there goes the ice head. You cannot menu while the head is exploding, so as soon as that explosion stops, Hazukitty switches to the ice rod to go and fight the fire head. Freezes it before it can get off another fire shot. One hit on it, needs a couple more hits. Dodging the Trinex's main head while the fire head dodges as well. Getting a little low on magic here. A little low on hearts as well. Gonna be close.
Oh god.
Fire head's down. We're down to 1 heart. Trinex is exploding, but gonna come out with a thirst for blood in a moment here. We still do have a fairy, so we're okay in the short term.
Oh, very awkward. Very awkward positioning. Because you want to save that for if you can.
And a flawless final phase to Trinex. Better luck next time. So that's 5 out of 7 crystals. We just have Pod and Misery Mire remaining. Bombos is our go mode item, sitting on the Lake Hylia ledge. Unfortunately, at this time, we are going to call it for a night, so we will have to follow Hazukitty on their stream. So we're going to put that link up in chat for you guys. Follow Hazukitty, say hello in chat, see if they're paying attention. We are going to cut stream here on Speed Gaming 3. No, where are we? This is Randomizer Mania 3. So I really appreciate everybody watching. Again, another shout out to our production crew, my commentary partner Flaffy, excellent job. Our restreamer, I don't know how to say that, man. Epi, we're going to go with Epi. And then our tracker Trank. Give all these guys the follow. You can give me a follow too. I talk sometimes on a stream. And our runners are the true stars of this show. They're the ones out here putting on a show for everybody, doing their best. So please give them a follow. And if you're interested in getting started, come check us out on Discord. We're more than happy to give you a hand. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a good night.
Good night.